Yo, how you guys doing? Watching Minecraft with my sister right now, but I'll be active soon as a vent. Oh, okay. Don't worry, it's just I'll let you know once we start doing your VOD review. But yes, free VOD review day. Why is my YouTube chat not showing? Give me a second. There we go. Got YouTube chat work. Yo, Ray, how you doing? How you guys doing? But gonna do a free coaching day. Definitely not a long stream today. I do have some like stuff to do, but why is my character not moving? Oh, there we go. Never mind. It works. It works. We're chilling. Let's go. Yeah. While we wait for more people to go in, I guess we can watch a little bit of FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. I'm pretty sure 100 Thieves lost last time. Where are they at right now? Getting curious. But if you guys want free VOD reviews, make sure you post within the VOD review submissions form. I forgot to do my announcement for today. But definitely doing this. That's where you can get free VOD reviews. Okay, does it show us the score? Are they not? Oh, they're not playing yet. They just started. I think it's so cool. You can watch the games in Rivals. Yeah, I really like it. Let me turn this down. Wait. Where is it? There we go. Did you make a bracket? I kind of wish I made one. No, I passed it due date, and then I realized I can't make it while like everything is happening. I was like, no. I definitely should have made a bracket though. Like you could have gotten free tokens as well, but it's not even for the tokens. I just like making brackets. I just don't have enough info for each team to like set up my bracket. Oh yeah, I have a. I know most of the players that play here though, so maybe I can form one. Does it show? I don't think it shows for you guys because this is a web browser. It's probably just hidden. But anyways, let's see what happened for today. Week 2. You can't press on these? You can press on these though, right? Oh. Show score. Damn, NTMR lost to Space Station Gaming. These players are pretty good. I swear, is this person a DPS? He's a DPS, but I always see him. Yeah, he's on Duelist. I just see him feel like crazy then. Like all the time. Interesting. Yippee, Sentinels won. Yeah, we lost one. Who's on this team? I don't really recognize much. I only recognize these two players. What's this? Oh, Forky, Valentina, Diaz. Damn. They won against Energy? Okay, Energy is like known for their for their dive comp, so I guess that makes kind of sense. Okay. I wish I can show this. It might be better if I just open the web browser to show you guys. Also really want this skin. It is so good. I just didn't know there was different colors. This one looks good. I love the white theme. The buffered character model with that skin? Wait, did they actually? Oops, wrong one. Where is it? Just lost it. Am I in the wrong page? Is it hot? No, it's not in that. Special? I just lost it. Where is it? Oh, I just need to scroll up. Did it show gameplay? Oh, there it is.
Hold still. I'm trying to help.
Lights out. Suffer in the darkness. Let's pop back up under their noses. Us against the world.
The skin sounds so good though. Sounds so good. Anyways, we're definitely gonna do some free VOD reviews. Till then, I guess we should just watch pro matches since they're like live right now, and then we can head straight to the VOD reviews. Let me pull up my web browser. Where is it? There it is.
Stylers into magical
Or
multi-users. The
add.
Daily Mist tackles all your prep in one step. The bond repairing treatment is a rinse out mask and a leave-in. The gel
See.
cream is moisture and hold. That's what you call an all-in-wonder. Aussie Ultra Wonder.
They do have what it takes, and they have that right mix that you mentioned, Zoe, of like rookies and experienced players. It's just a matter of starting out an 0-2 deficit after a patch is a brutal look.
Are you guys able to hear that?
They can put up a competitive
Might
match
need to
versus
increase it.
what you said 100 Thieves trying to come back and show up, have a good showing. That's going to be rough. So as long as they look half decent, I wouldn't feel too bad about them as a FlyQuest fan.
They do have to go up against quite a giant, honestly. I mean, 100 Thieves, they had such an incredible run last season, coming out on in the upper echelon.
It's good?
of
Okay,
pretty much
perfect, perfect.
every stage. So yeah, it's a tough match to prove
Oh,
yourself
man.
for FlyQuest. to
Wait,
prove
who are they
that,
against?
hey, look, the
Energy?
adjustments were back,
Or wait,
but
no.
it's
100 Thieves just
still
went
competitive.
against
It's
100
set
Thieves
off
last time and they
They're gonna
lost.
put themselves in a much better spot heading into week 2.
Yeah, but also 100 Thieves have only got to play once, right? It was that one time that
Right.
they end up losing out against Energy. And imagine if you're FlyQuest right now and you got to look at like the gauntlet. Of
Oh yeah, it's
the
100 Thieves versus FlyQuest.
Put a point on the board. If it isn't 100 Thieves
I
that are the top
don't
teams
remember
winning
what
the series,
FlyQuest is known
next week it's gonna
for,
be
or the
Energy,
type of
the team that
competitions they
literally
have,
beat
so
100 Thieves. Then it's gotta be Swamp Gaming, the team
We'll
that
see.
is currently leading the pack in Group A. It's kind of like the, hey, can we get some time to breathe? Because next is then the last series, the last team that they would have to beat in that last series for the last day of next week. So I mean, looking, or actually they already played them out, so not actually having to play Group B, that's on the Group B side of things. But it's still that gauntlet run, right? You still have to deal with 100 Thieves. You still got to deal with Energy, and then you have to deal with Swamp Gaming. The 3 big titans that are leading Group A is gonna be really difficult. Like, there's only so much you could do to ping. I think that's something else that we have to mention, because a lot of these talented individuals from FlyQuest are unfortunately at that slight deficit. So Bez doing their best. Somebody say Bez, like, you know, try to be the foundation for FlyQuest, because if you're Bez right now, you're looking on at the rest of the team and you're trying to keep the morale right for FlyQuest. You have to also remind them, okay, well, now after this series against 100 Thieves, we then have to beat the team that also took out 100 Thieves. So it's gonna be a mountain to climb.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, 100 Thieves, they're coming into this season with very little changes, right? The only replacement is Terra. Now, you could argue Terra was their star player, so that's obviously a massive change for them. But Self, I think, held their own, right? Like, as the replacement. What's the first impression here from you, Dogman? Does the glass slipper fit?
I think it fits, yes, absolutely. I mean, Self is a self-made player who has been able to grind up on Black Panther, I know, I'm sorry, cheesy, and Human Torch and stuff. But he's, you know, if he can flex and build up that hit scan pool, I'm very much looking forward to this guy's future. I mean, he is kind of like a mini Terra to a degree. Like, you know, Terra is not a player that you can come across very often, only because we talk about those star players. A lot of the times, they're not the most flexible, right? Like, there's, you know, I hate to throw Rymazing under the bus a little bit, but he's like playing a ton of that Mantis Ultron, you know, playing a lot of the hit scan stuff. Nectar came in on Old Sentinels and was like the flex player kind of, and that's been really good for Nectar because now they're a star player elsewhere and stuff. But a lot of times, if you have to come in and kind of fill the other characters that the experienced player doesn't play, that can sometimes be a detriment to your individual stats. But if you can step up and level up like Terra has, like we've seen other squads,
It should be
I
starting
think
soon,
they have a
right?
very
The
bright
match?
future ahead of them. Now,
100 Thieves
they
versus
still lost their
FlyQuest?
first match, right? Which versus NRG, and I think Remix. I don't know if he wants me to talk about it, but I was like, man, you know, how good? Like, how are you guys doing right now in scrims and stuff? And he's like, man, we should have 2-0'd NRG, man. Like, he's like, we've been 50-0ing them in scrims. How do we lose to them on day one? So, you know, I'm sure, like you said, Zoe, they have a point to prove today.
Yeah, day one jitters are that's a real thing. Even though you're an accomplished player, even though you know have all those accolades from last year, it's still a thing because in the end you don't know what to expect from the opposition, and those are.
Alright, but like here's the thing.
Games like we can't stress that
Like,
enough. So
You can't really say that was a jitter when they made like crucial
everything's calm
mistakes.
down, everything's okay.
If it was
Go back
mechanical
up
mistakes, it
whenever.
would make sense.
For them, very lucky, of course, that they only had to play one match this week, and then they also got to sit back and just kind of take a look at what the opposition is doing.
Literally, they had to go back to the drawing board and see, like, all right, there's only so much Delena could do, right? We have to talk about, like, the star player that really stood out to me within that last series. I did go to a game 3, of course, with Energy shocking literally everybody for that first day. It was a banger of a way to end the first day, but they've had time. They didn't play too much.
That's true.
Yesterday, they only had
Like,
one series.
Delena went
There was a lot
crazy.
to really base off of minus that one series. So you go into today, you see FlyQuest. If you want to test out anything, if you're 100 Thieves, you could go ahead and try to do that now if you want to talk about the individual differences that each of these players could provide on this roster.
I feel like, you know what, like you mentioned, like with Delena being an absolute god so far in Elsa and stuff, I think it's him and Visions that are like the two best Elsas right now. But like everybody else is still pretty close. Like I feel like Nectar still had a really good performance. Like it's still like a top 5 Elsa. You know, it's kind of like the famous Brian Scalabrine quote from the NBA. You know, he's closer to LeBron than you are to him. Okay, it's basketball reference. It's basically the
I know
average
of
plat
LeBron
player.
James. Thank you.
He exists in the world. Well, I think I know him. But the point is, your average player is super far away from any of these pros. You know, for example, I saw on Twitter, I was like perusing things, I was like browsing, and I think I saw people were critiquing Flats' tier list, right, on Heroes. And people were like, man, Flats, you're stupid. And then he comes back and he's like, well, you know, most of these pros have the personality of a wet rock or whatever. He said something stupid. And he was basically saying that he's closer to the top 1% and then closer to the everyman, so he understands him, and I get that point. But like, honestly, like somebody like Flats, who's in the top 1% of the game, is still very far away from the 0.1%, from the pro players of our scene, and I respect that guy as a content creator. But if I have to respect somebody as a content creator, then I think I have to respect the pro players as well that put all this time into the game and put as much effort as these guys do. And I think, like we were talking about earlier, Vicky, you know, Nectar had a phenomenal game, was really close, I think, to Dilemma and Visions. We're just going to see.
I agree.
This is a
And
struggle
it's
all
so-
this time, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like, so,
You have that in like every kind of sports where it's easy to judge when you're on the outside looking in. So like it's so easy if you have the bird's eye view of what is happening, and then you have all the sources at hand as well. That doesn't mean you can replicate it.
No, it's hard.
it's true, and it's especially when you have only like a limited amount of like information to base that off of, right? So you go back on it, and you also like take a look at 100 Thieves, and you look at TTK. who's
We
always
beefing
been
with
a
with
very
Flats?
standout player.
I don't know. I
So,
really like that guy,
and wonder,
but
okay, were some of the vanguards that he rolled out.
some of
with
his takes are
the
questionable.
decision
And
that
it's because
should've
he's not really that.
Because I believe even some go to the Museum of Content.
I mean, I only played with him twice, but
You know, a map that
he's all right as a
are still
player.
trying to get a handle-
He just plays the
handle
game
because
for fun,
being on
of
the
course.
attack
He doesn't take it like
is
super
so
seriously.
detrimental. So figuring out, okay, well, if
I don't
this
think
is
he really
gonna
looks
work
into
out for us,
scrims
it
for
could
like
work out at least in
high
their favor.
like
That's
level
where they
play
won the dub.
too much.
But it was incredibly close. That's whole series
Maybe
was
except
close.
for like
The
now,
first Doms,
is he watching MRI?
favor for
Has he
NRG.
been watching
They
MRI
beat
and
that
MRC?
Teams
All that?
5-4.
Kinda
And
curious.
that was with Madara making a crazy portal play before they
Oh
ended
God, I
up
forgot
closing
about
up.
that.
Yeah, like
Oh
I lost
my.
my mind. I lost
Yeah.
my mind. It happened like back to back because it then proceeded to happen on the last map on Shin Shibuya. So if you're struggling on maybe these two maps, you go back to the drawing board. Why did we struggle? Was it because there was not enough protection when we're entering such a dive-centric meta? What are the adjustments we have to make when we go onto the tournament client with the new patch with these buffs over to White Box 2?
Now we're sorting out some stuff on the server, so I promise you, our yapping is not holding the game hostage.
Not yet.
Promise.
Can we start tier listing,
don't do
Zoe?
that
Can we?
usually. It's just that's always the assumption is like they have to start, but
I doubt it. He
no,
does more variety these days.
Trust.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise we wouldn't start with sports references because that's not our forte.
Not your forte, Zoe.
No, I
Okay.
speak
Don't
for
get
all
me-
of us. I'm the host.
Oh, dang it.
Oh,
That's how it works.
well, today
Okay,
we
the
learned
gauntlets
something.
are on.
Take the-
That's awesome.
I'll get
yeah,
the
we're actually
backpack.
gonna we're gonna head into a quick break. How about that? So we let everyone get some refreshments to set us up for our last series of the day. So stick around. We're gonna see you on the other side of this.
Wait, how long? How long is this gonna be? Okay, 5 minutes. That's not too bad. Alright. Let's go into eastwards. Let's just look at the rosters. Figure out like who they're playing against. So we have 100 Thieves, right? Selena Insane, his game player. Oh. I forgot. Right, there we go. Or we can keep the music, why not? Oh. Never mind. Got an ad. No. Okay. But alright, let's look at the roster. Right. They have 100 Thieves, hits him player, really good. Lena, a support player. Invis, Mantis, and Jeff. Jeff is really good this season, and maybe a little bit Ultron if needed, depending on the comp. Self. We've been seeing Self a lot on Wolverine, and then maybe Adam. But like, it has been rough. Wolverine, they're just not playing correctly, and he's not playing patient enough. Adam Warlock, it kind of seems like a crutch. He's just using him when he can. I've never seen him play these two, but Human Torch is interesting. TDK, Jake Blair, mainly Emma, really good at Angela, I guess Thing, and then yeah, these are his frontline tanks. He's a really heavy like frontline player. Vinny is like a lot more mobile. You see him on Cap, Venom, yep. I guess a bit on Groot, but yeah. Winnie, really good. Loki, Invis. Ooh, that's a really low cloak win rate. Jeff is good. White Fox, none. That's fine. Who's Blue Jay? I don't think he competed yet. I don't think he was in it because that's 6 players. Oh, I did not mean to copy. No. Okay, whatever. All right, let's look at Fight Quest. I don't know these players. Okay. Venom, Angela, Strange. What does this guy play? Ken plays Loki, Invis. Okay. This guy's a really good hit scan player. He's also known for his Hawkeye. His Hawkeye is pretty decent. And Psylocke. I forgot about Psylocke. Yeah, he plays a lot of Psylocke. A lot of punny as well. Holy. In Phoenix, yeah. Torch, Phoenix, Thriller, Psylocke. Okay. Who's this guy? I guess everyone is like running similar comps anyways. I feel like Wolf would be really hard to play in pro play. Aren't you kind of waiting for someone to make a mistake to get a grab? So it's not necessarily like if they made a mistake, but it's the force like an enemy to overcommit, right? That's the point of grabs. So while we were doing some like analyzing on Friday when 100 Thieves went against NRG, the strat was 100 Thieves would play Wolverine, and there's something called bunkers, right? And they would use Wolverine as like the frontline bunker. He's the one that like is holding that space, and whoever enters it stays in it, right? That's the whole point of Wolverine. It's just they played really floppy when they played Wolverine, and it didn't really work out. You don't really necessarily like think of like people think of Wolverine as, oh, I'm just gonna go in the front line and beat up their tanks, but it's really to force people to stay overcommitted on the decisions they make, especially against dive. So their plan, because they know that NRG is more of a dive comp, they want to guarantee the grabs and make sure they're keeping them inside that bunker, and then the team just destroys them. It did work a few times. They were just really floppy. Seems hard to protect him. Proactive on him. It kind of is pretty hard, but like it's really about being really patient on that character. You only get value off that character when you're grabbing people. Otherwise, you become like pretty useless, like completely useless at some points. So as long as you're getting grab and doing a lot of damage, which kind of sucks because I feel like other characters might just be generally better at doing that. I think Wolverine is just so good because it's the CC is just the longest CC in the game, and it does the most amount of damage too. So it's like the biggest punishment. You can argue that Penny's a good option too, which it is, but it's not enough. It's not the same as what Wolverine can do, because it requires a lot of setup, and Penny is arguably more squishier than Wolverine. Wolverine is probably like the tankiest for doing his like job. All right, seems like it's back up. Where is it? Hold up. Oh, it was glitched. That was weird.
Thinking about the long term of it before we were talking about like predictions in games to get units. But like nowadays, I think people like kind of realize where FlyQuest is, and maybe that's why it's easier to be like to go softer on them a little bit, because they've just not shown up to performance. Whereas like 100 Thieves, you know, they've had a good series with NRG, whereas FlyQuest has had a tough showing every single time they've played. And that's kind of the like for Nightmare and SSG, the reason why I like, for example, I was so hard on Nightmare is because they have expectations, because this team, you know, a lot of people think are going to get top 4. So you kind of set different expectations, I guess, and FlyQuest need to up our expectations after the series event.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming in as a partner team, right? They're also coming in as an org that has done well last year. But they are coming in with just 2 returning members with Vess and Celos. So there is a lot of new pieces that need to be worked in. There is a new meta that needs to be figured out, and new opponents that need to be figured out too, because I think a lot of the teams have changed their identity and their approaches. So you have to take that into consideration in each and every single match. So perhaps they turn things around. We did see Sen being able to do just that as well here in our opening week. So now is an opportunity for FlyQuest to really push back and fight back and see what they got. Now the teams look to be ready very soon. So rest assured, we're diving into our last series of the day in just a little bit.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for your patience. We just want to make sure all the players are locked and loaded, ready to go, especially when FlyQuest have their backs against the walls. I like how Dogman brings up like how each individual player is so talented on their own. We know what they can perform. We've seen it in the back end, but it's about performing against one of the best teams in the region.
That's right. That is 100 Thieves, and they will be taking on FlyQuest in their last match of opening week.
Thank you, Zoe. Heading into it, FlyQuest, you know, like you mentioned, like I think actually Zoe put it pretty well.
Let's go.
Like
They're starting.
They don't need to be
Finally,
you know, the best team in the world here. They just need to be like, you know, Sentinels, like scrape by this week, try to get to next week. But you don't want to go in that 0-3 deficit like the side of Lunex is in Group B, you know, because that just makes it such a hard next week and difficult opportunity for you. But, you know, it's not an easy test against the 100 Thieves for sure, but you have to start it out in the ban phase, and we're going to immediately ban out the DD and Mantis for the side of FlyQuest, which is, I think, a unique start, Vicky?
Yeah, when you just saw like 100 Thieves just go crazy
Yeah.
with Delena on Elsa, so now Delena gets to get the server admin unlocked, so we have to see how that's going to play out.
That was pretty
FlyQuest,
expected
but
though
they have a
from
game
100
plan. They
Thieves.
take out the Gambit. They wanted to prio protect
Banning
the
Elsa and
Mantis.
playing
We
Elsa,
talked
like,
about the
Dylan
Mantis
is
earlier
nasty on
today,
that character.
And the Psylocke, and that's interesting because that's probably going to force out the Gambit ban from the other side. For
Melio
100 Thieves
might
to
be
FlyQuest.
playing
See how that's gonna
Psylocke,
work
we'll
out
see.
hand in hand. But I know a lot of players are also excited to see more of 100 Thieves with this iteration of the, you know, Self being slotted in. You talked a lot about Self prior. Talk about the flexibility too between the duelists of Delena and Self and what they could bring too. Because honestly, 100 Thieves also have no issue if they have to run the triple strat.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy, and I think this will determine at least my perspective on this triple strat of this composition with the Mantis and stuff. Like, it feels like FlyQuest are almost preparing for next week when the Elsa nerfs come through and she's minus 50 HP. Maybe that's the reason why they're doing this, because for 100 Thieves, I mean, they've just done everything. Like, they've got actually everything, like, except the Gambit.
Yo,
Painful
AJ.
I mean, maybe that's
Thank you
just
so
like
much for the
a
resub.
situation.
How you doing? Thank you so much for the 3
That's
months.
brutal to see those two in the lobby on the opposite side.
go.
I'm really curious how FlyQuest play against it.
Yep. Currently just waiting for more
It's
people to
gonna
show
be
up during
hard.
stream and start posting
TPK is
within their
already
VOD
over
submissions
that.
channel.
Angela
We do have
Legend
Sterling up
is
next,
going
and we're
everybody
gonna
on
do
the
a free
last
VOD
series
review
of the
day.
day to
But yeah.
close out the
Take a
first
fat nap. What
week
about
of the
you?
preseason here
Actually,
in
same. I also
Fortnite
took a nap
Americas region.
today.
Diving right into
But
the
doing
action,
pretty well.
FlyQuest trying to prioritize the Mantis.
Currently just
You have to
doing
consider the fact that they're also dealing with like, the Loki ban,
watching
the Gambit
MRI.
ban,
So, yeah.
Zelos. Being on the Cloak and Dagger, let's see if this is going to work out for them. But I think one thing that we can't take away from today, Dogman, is the amount of Ultron that has been utilized on
What are you
bombs.
doing, AJ?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
did
an
you create
excellent
one,
point.
or
I think
are you
that the
trying to do the one that
Ultron
I
itself
created?
is
I
just,
forgot.
you know, very hard to
I don't know if
KO
I have it
on the
enabled.
fact that he does insane damage, and he's
I
kinda,
remember
like,
making one.
easy to play. Like, for people that can aim, it just
This is crazy. 100 Thieves versus
almost right. The only thing that's kind of tough.
was
is,
it
like,
100 Thieves
figuring
versus
out when to use your
FlyQuest?
ultimate.
100 Thieves did
Up the
lose
side,
on this
get the ball off
match,
that or whatever.
so
Immediately we're gonna go for this
We'll see.
extreme fast TP play. We'll see if Vess wants to maybe go towards the point, if they're all
Ooh,
together for 100 Thieves
TP.
side, and maybe we get some one shots with the damage boost.
Trying to get a kid up here too, splitting the attention, but 100 Thieves
I don't
already
know.
ahead
I
of
feel
them
like this
at point and
TP
wants to
should be
make
switched
steps
up now.
into
I think it's too
CRC.
expected.
Jeff over from the other side.
And then everyone
Hands
ends up
again after we saw
flipping the
Vinny
map
go
and playing
over
bunker.
White Fox.
You just set up the
That's
team,
TTK
like the other
with
team
a
for
lot of
point.
White Fox players.
And it's just
And
not a
that's
good
before
TP.
The buff too, as TTK lingers about to get more information and to harass this backline. The Angela is hungry, looking to sweep in on its next prey.
Yeah, absolutely. Just try to like playing around, waiting in the wings. But you know, in general, kind of comes for that dive early. Has to back away to the health pad, just kind of play around.
Oh,
Yeah,
taking so much
TTK is-
damage. Melio
Yeah,
answers
oh.
back and finds TTK. Great peel too to help Melio gut up to health thanks to Zelos and Ken. And now with that first pick, FlyQuest do
They're
have
playing
the advantage for now
bunker.
before they try to re-engage because Vinny does have that van.
I like FlyQuest like team setup a little bit more than 100 Thieves. Like 100 Thieves having TTK and Vinny on like tank pool and TTK on Angela. I guess that Angela is really good with the Ultron. They're running triple. But the triples are like a little bit off.
Building up on the inside,
Hey!
so I think it's just a very
Okay, you get it over.
line
Nice.
right now.
No worries though, because then we can kind of clean off our glasses just to see that Melio finally does get taken out, and the extermination comes in from Self. Selena is close to that Glartrox too, but it's gonna be Zelos first with the invisible boundary. FlyQuest looking a little bit more straightened up. But with
Oh.
Zelos getting caught with the Glartrox, they deleted it quickly.
And
but it's
they
not
get
fast
the
enough
kill.
for
Oh
Delana
yeah,
to defend
GG.
well onto the
Like,
field. Now the dance of the
that's
Cloud
so
Flight
dumb.
Jolly finds 2 off of 100 Thieves, and Tusi goes crazy, at least with the Psylocke, with them getting the control of the
Holy.
point first.
Yeah, excellent work there to cap the point, and also Minorette to finally sort its stuff out. But for FlyQuest, you know, it seems
where
like
is
when
the 100
fight
Thieves?
comes
So
down
100
to
Thieves
they already
lost
themselves up
their
a bit.
first
You know, they can
match
kind of play,
against Energy, and now they're playing against
force that
FlyQuest. I'm pretty
objective
sure
to
they
get
lost.
the point
FlyQuest
and allow
lost
maybe a
against
little bit more
someone.
space to come through as you have some solid ultimates. You
FlyQuest was doing bad yesterday. I didn't watch all their matches, so
see if they keep it up moving forward. Maybe hit a huge Jeff ult.
I'm actually curious who's gonna win this match. FlyQuest or 100 Thieves.
TK doesn't have his Meteor M.
Apparently, 100 Thieves like won most of their matches in scrims against Energy, but Energy won.
Now with Winnie
So.
and Millennia getting to cycle through these drought ults and look for self, and that extermination that rings through your ears. They're trying to boot FlyQuest off this point.
Wait,
and
TDK
Jolly
on
has a lot of
Mag?
sustainability too with the Freedom Charge. Melio wraps everybody up together though, and it's gonna be the Mantis ult to bring them into this point because they have not gotten off just yet. 100 Thieves trying to force them off, and with the It's Jeff from Ken, Meteor M just slammed down, but a good protection to help enable Ken.
Yeah, nice job by Vess to block that Meteor M coming down to save the Jeff. In the meanwhile, they're trying to go to the back line, force out that Luna ultimate. Millennia wants to go forward, like take advantage, but that Eye's coming through.
Oh,
Maybe
big
to
ult?
Millennia with the
Oh.
Vortrox off
What is
the-
happening?
No, it hits the wall. Actually, no, it doesn't. He
Oh.
brings it back,
Oh.
but it still gets deleted, so everybody's still healthy. And guess what? FlyQuest has a point. No ultimates for support ults on
This is bad.
They're hit by
This is
Jolly
bad.
and Tuzi with the Dances of Butterflies, and they're cleaned up. FlyQuest, they're at 90%.
This is a different FlyQuest and a different 2C on this side.
Oh
Now you
my.
see why they wanted to prio this. FlyQuest showcasing that they have
Well,
more
FlyQuest
than
is doing better on
up
100
their sleeve, and
Thieves.
100 Thieves are going to have to recontest with the portal.
Oh my goodness, and can they get there in time? The answer is yes. At the very least, they get that overtime tick down, but you know, they have no ultimates. They
Yeah,
have
whoever got the
no
point
slow,
first though,
and
like,
Ken is coming
they
up
have a
with another
really
Jeff
good
ult.
chance of
You
winning
maybe can get a pick
this
off on
map
Millennia or
because the
something.
bunkers are
Maybe
set up
somebody
so
has to go
well.
off, but you have
So
to
we're
play
like,
the
you don't
inside
even need to
angle.
like pressure any other
Everybody's
part of the map
engaging
except
that
for like
dive
staying in
coming
bunker.
through. Jolly understands that, needs to live. Good job playing his life for now. Vinny comes out, has that Bane Hammer. Jeff on as well comes through. Maybe they can live, and Vinny can get some more damage off down range, but into the sky that Jeff goes. What doesn't want to get Meteor? Delena shuts him out. Nice job from Delena to read that. That was the player that needed to step up in that previous fight without the ultimate advantage. But they still need to find more. Glartrox coming up soon.
And with overtime ticking down and Vez having the Eye of Agamotto, look at TTK who's falling incredibly low. Winnie
Can it
also
increase the
close to
quality?
reset. Eye of Agamotto comes in, but it only finds TTK.
How laggy will this be?
Elena fighting Melio right as Zelos
Okay, this doesn't really look like
invisible boundary with
made too much of a
TTK
difference.
Getting the shish kebab, making sure that the Glartrox truly eats tonight, and 100 Thieves flip the points. But talk about a dominating
Okay.
few fight from Flight
That's a good thing
to accept
that
themselves
they
to
flipped,
99.
but that's gonna be hard now.
That was messy. I wonder if, like, so Ken, I think didn't want to get Meteor M'd or maybe even one-shot / charmed. So
Yeah,
that is
two
interesting.
ults.
That
They
is
gotta
maybe
hold their
because
ults
of
and
that
play
Jeff ult in the
bunker.
Previous fight that maybe could have turned things. But the decision-making, regardless, has them at 99%, right? So they're going to this next fight. If they could force out Winnie's ultimate now, Self is on Doctor Strange of all things, right? No longer on the Ultron, so they don't have that crazy...
Honestly, what they
output.
should do on this map though
But you
is
can't
like,
allow
see how
Delena.
they're
This
giving
guy
up
right
space?
here
They're trying to
is
set up
gonna
bunker as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, Delena was
This is what I would tell them to do. It's like, make sure you go, like, try to kite back. Like, very slowly kite back, everyone, and play super passive. Is this VOD review Sunday? Yes, it is. Going to do some free VOD reviews. Currently just looking at some MRA. While we're waiting for people to submit their VODs within the Discord or within the chat. Let me make sure I pin this. Oh, perfect. Thank you, AJ. Yeah.
Yeah, did it buy enough time, right? The Psylocke destined to die in that situation, and oh, hyper aggressive. Delena goes. He fell. No way. Self ultimate, but they still get 2 KOs. Counter Avalgamora, blocked by shields by the Vanguard. They're still alive. Self locked it alongside DDK. And Best, he now finds himself with his pants down. He's gotten 2 in the fight. Still controlling the point 2 is 100.
Triple tank is crazy here. It's really smart though. They should go triple tank.
Cannot catch a break, it seems, and Ken is coming in with the itch, Jeff, because 100 Thieves have flipped this from 0 to 99 and are nearing 90%.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's the thing about this map. Like, it's really like, if you have control of the point, it's really easy to keep it. And it's hard to take over point again.
Gets poked a little bit early, but every time, you know, they're playing slow, allowing the team to build up towards those ultimates, and the Glartrox is still available. And we saw what Delena did before.
Delena's looking for those cough drops though shortly before wrapping over to the left side, and they immediately use it. The Glartrox catching one. The follow-up.
Wait, big ol'.
Big pick. Let's see if FlyQuest can come into the recontest. And Zealous also has the big boundary. 2C waking up. Finds 2. Can they find
you got
3K?
both the tanks.
Jumps up, gets stunned. Beautiful safety as the invisible boundary comes in and a dance up from 100 feet for the sustain.
Wait, he's gonna have the dance floor after this. They have to KO the Psylocke. Everybody has to look at it, make sure he can't get it off, otherwise we're all dead. Into the sky. One, portal's there by his own teammate. Comes through, he's accidentally through, he wastes half of it because Vess's portal brings it back to his own spawn.
Wait, but they got point though. Oh shoot. Did they make Groot? Whoa, they did make Groot. I guess this is not the best Groot map though. Well, kinda. Actually, no. I think Groot is really good on this map.
As it is 100 Thieves' point right now, and with Jolly Fun and Millennia, that's how you open things up for FlyQuest.
Yeah, that's a huge pick. Portal out. Cooldowns out of the White Fox. Can Delena get traded? Oh my goodness, Zelos gets it in the 1v1. Now there's just a Doctor Strange with the backline. Meanwhile, Vinny, what do you have for us on the Van Pool? Can you stall it? Nope.
I feel like they should go, one of them go Groot, but...
Too much from Tuzi and FlyQuest, who win round 1.
Ooh. What a round.
Are you kidding me? 2C? I want to have whatever breakfast 2C had, because 2C is popping off. The immediate focus, the recontest, even at the end of that Dance of the Cutterfly, kind of getting cut off early, still found those prio picks. This Psylocke is on fire, and this is the FlyQuest of those individual talented players that we know to come and love.
Absolutely. Maybe it's that European sort of mentality in terms of the fact that they run the Mantis at a pretty high level. Melio playing that flex role gives him the damage boost, allowed Tuzi to, you know, pop off like he did. And it's funny because I think we've seen Melio do well in Psylocke as well. So, you know, it's a very interesting team, you know, taking parts of EMEA, coming through, you know, and based on how everybody's talking about it and stuff, we lowered our expectations. But, you know, maybe, Vicky, we need to increase them again, because if they were to beat 100 Thieves today...
Yeah, this map is not really too much of a group map.
After all of the expectations that they had.
Can you imagine being like from the EMEA region and like watching this right now? America's is quite literally a masterclass.
I'd say the counter to Guru is probably elevation. And there's a lot of like verticality within this map, so it's really awkward to play group.
Who's waiting to take into an off angle, and specifically Delena, who can have that Glartrox to take everybody off the map.
They walked to the point early.
This is good though. I like TTK going on
really
Emma.
Early into the season, you know, really nobody knows the best comps to play until about like the end of this week. But Jolly on the backside, they already give up the point. 100 Thieves already in control. Jolly frozen after being charmed. All that CC used on him, but they still have to deal with the Glartrox coming up from Delena.
You know it too.
Oh, he's looking for it. He's looking for it. Oh.
They put down the invisible boundary, but it's not going to be enough to say the three members of FlyQuest. So
my.
Unfortunately, an invisible boundary
Nerf that ult, please.
Yeah, excellent job from Vinny, who is kind of free on the Van Pool because he gets that mismatch, and you know, drops Banehammer, gets a lot more damage down
But
range than
Invisible,
maybe
yeah.
someone expected,
It's
but
like,
also there's too many people I think
killed
hit by the
everyone.
Glory Shocks to actually delete it. So, well timed by Delena in 100 Thieves. We'll see if they can keep it up, right? Down that ultimate. They still have the damage boost in these like neutral fights where the Psylocke does a lot more damage than you would think. But 100 Thieves finally have the point first, unlike the previous round.
Even playing off of that slight lag here, having that difference can make a huge difference for FlyQuest.
What are they setting up?
Comeback. Winnie taking
Whoa,
the fight
where's
over
Winnie?
again. Oh, unfortunately,
Oh.
gets dove on. That's one strat out from FlyQuest, really leaving Zelos and Melio, and they do not want to
Nice.
like this with Melio having that ultimate to try to recontest.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of earlier when we
Yeah, 100
watched,
Thieves, okay.
You know, Nightmare kind of falter. Like, they're just losing in these weird neutrals where they probably shouldn't. Ken, in that case, on the off angle, got chased down by Delena. 100 Thieves, well-practiced, read it. And, you know, it's tough because you don't want to lose fights without ultimates if you're FlyQuest. So, you know, got caught out in that situation. We'll see if it happens again because now they finally have their straddles, right? If you had the Dance of Butterflies in the last fight, that could have been big.
Look at 2C, damage boosted 2C, and he does have that Dancing Butterflies, as you mentioned, Dogman. Self playing around the pillar, getting out of the line of sight, does have the extermination to keep everybody up, as Vinny jumps up from behind, and Delena is finding the demon that was 2C before, shutting this down. No
Nah.
to recontest, 99%. as it
This
forces to
this
overtime,
Elsa
and they
character is
delete
so
the cap.
broken.
Yeah, this is the 100 Thieves we know, right? I mean, just gets the max.
Maybe I should
damage
just
to
run
the
Elsa
end
on an
of the
ult
fight
count.
At the beginning, 100-0.
Elsa
from
only.
Thieves. Then we go to the next round.
That's disgusting.
Where, you know, I'm
Well,
curious
yeah,
if the
actually.
Psylocke works out because we're going to Imperial Institute of Science, which is a little bit more of an open map. And, you know, I wouldn't necessarily favor the Ultron there. This is like a big deal, like, sorry, at a large effect. But I would favor Delena on this Elsa, who will just kind of be able to run free. And, I mean, like, FlyQuest didn't put up a fight in the last round, Vicky.
Yeah,
They lost every
domination.
fight.
Domination, literally. Like when it comes to this game mode here, Dogman, like domination, that first fight could determine so much in terms of like ult economy and like 100 Thieves in that first round. Couldn't really
Yep.
find that footing. Meanwhile, on the second round,
That's
look at the
true,
way that
but they
were
never
able to
took, like, a different
recontest
route, and
FlyQuest.
they
were
didn't, like-
staggering them. They even
Everything
jumped
about
red
domination
versus
is whenever
Sushi.
the
And we're on here to the round 3 where you have more of that
team
verticality
wins
we were
first
talking about.
point, it's generally best to change your entire team composition. But it only works if your team is really coordinated and knows how to play like everything.
They kind of went down one after another, but we'll see if that changes around, right? The first round went their way. They had somewhere, I think, for the strategists to really bunker up and play off of that, but it's going to be a lot harder in this round as it does get a little bit more open in terms of space. So, you know, how does 100 Thieves play this? And more importantly, where is FlyQuest going to put their invisible boundary coming up? And does Ken also try to play for his own life? As TDK is off that mag that he was playing earlier, and on the Emma has looked flawless.
And as we go the distance too, you have to imagine what this does for the Vanpool, right? He's got those upgrades already ready to go, as he's one of those characters that like to build up, as Delena has released a glove top, and you have Ben
Oh
on
my.
the receiving end of that weapon. TTK, Psionic Seduction, bringing them all into their line of sight, and FlyQuest are still holding on to these ultimates. Melio looked like has called in that Soul Resurgence, and Zelios comes in with that invisible boundary. A little bit better this time around, but
Was
Vinny
that Luna
tries to
only,
isolate
dude?
them with the bubble.
I mean, they're trying to sustain, they're trying to live, but they're still down a member of their team.
Oh.
Be careful. Don't touch the point again. This happened before in the previous round, and now Tuzi's going to get picked off. Charcoal, a little bit too late from Ken. Is anything there to counter it? The Ultron's rage is there, so they get nothing. And at this
Now,
point,
FlyQuest is selling.
They got to
Selling
change things
hard.
up, Vicky. This is not looking good.
Delena is having their way right now, literally sending them back to the spawn route gate, and is still holding up before backing away because not only do they have the point first, but Delena is just being able to take so much of this momentum and run with it.
Yeah, he's been doing whatever he wants here, right? And I think off of that, TTK swap to the Emma Frost is just sort of stuffed FlyQuest's game plan. Like, it's just given so much space to Delena to pop off and do whatever he wants. So
Yeah.
they had to mix things up, maybe change something. But they don't have straddles,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe you can set up Tuzi. However, it's quite the distance. Look how far back they're playing. You have to use every cooldown to even get close.
And with TC using the Dance of the Cutterflies, look at the protection from 100 Thieves. Unfazed and getting no value if you're 2C. Melio's also getting focused, by the way, as Vinny now comes over to the side.
Yeah, but that was a
Goes
bad
down.
time
As
ult,
Vest goes
2Z.
down
That was
onto
actually a
Delena,
bad time
the
ult.
biggest target
Ooh.
priority, following up with TTK. That's making big
That was a
moves
good ult.
as FlyQuest were able
See,
to
like the
put
timing
back
when
the
that
lead.
mag used his ult is
that's
the exact same timing when the Solak should have used ult. Not saying they should have used ult together, but like one of them has to use ult once they go into drop down.
That was kind of hopeless, right? Like they were sent all the way far back. That's the problem with, you know, not earning the space that you are given, right? Like he had to use every cooldown to get in, and 100 Thieves obviously expected it, patty caked it, lived it. Now this upcoming fight though, right? You go on the ultimate advantage. Yes, Best got those KOs, but it cost them the Meteor and it cost them the Dance of the Butterflies. Let's see if they can live with the Shroud ults now. That's the crucial factor, as Delena's been brutal every single time with the Glortrox.
And the disruption too onto the backline from Jolly, who's trying their best to try to split that up from 100 Thieves. Delena has that Glortrox, and they see that Zealous has already called in that invisible boundary. It's up to Melio to see how they're going to be able to try to utilize the Soul Resurgence on the other receiving end as Vest falls so incredibly low, brings him back up to health, finds another snipe, this time out to Vinny, as Self has the Extermination, but held on to it. So the 100 Thieves are going to hold on to these ults in general to go in for a reset because FlyQuest are nearing 70%.
Yeah, and they're going to
Huge stagger.
They need
Ooh.
this. They absolutely need this stagger. And 100 Thieves, their game plan was immediately,
Damn.
okay, they used Invis, they used Mantis. Okay, we have the ultimate advantage next fight. But we've seen out of teams, Vicky, earlier, you know, you can throw that advantage away.
That's a really good
Slowly
stagger.
but surely, like Nightmare earlier. You know, for FlyQuest's side, sure, they don't have a lot of ultimates, but they're going to build the Dance of the Butterflies. If 100 Thieves overcommit or don't find anything with the Glortrox, I might get worried if I'm a 100 Thieves fan.
It's looking grim, but at 95%, they're looking to recontest, and FlyQuest really only have Ken to make a big It's Jeff move, as 2C also looking to try to utilize the Dance of the Cutterflies.
People do bloodthirsty and rank to stagger out 10 seconds like that. No, for real. Ooh.
Gets the Dance of the Butterfly, but is answered by the Fate of Bolt Forth from Millennia, who was holding on to it.
Wait, huge pick though.
The dance floor out, Self's not going to be here, and with that,
Yeah,
ult
Self
on
doesn't
range,
have
so that's
ult.
big. Ken's ultimate, he's just going to use it to live. Maybe trying to avoid all that damage. Elena's still here on the objective though, but they are missing Self. Oh my goodness, 2Z gets
Okay,
the
that is
By
disgusting.
that
Why?
one from Delena, who hunts him
Why is that
down.
right click gonna like
Deadpool
bleed
team of
through?
Jolly just trying to stall things out, and oh my goodness, it's a reset. 100 Thieves have control.
Now everybody
I guess they ripped up like 4 ults, right?
Sure that the server
Yeah.
and Elsa currently doesn't have free reign because Delena's having so much impact and getting these raw picks. It's even scarier in comparison to some teams that want to force out the Gambit, which was the first that we saw banned out.
Did he get a controller player? Yeah, he's a controller player.
As 100 Thieves are working with what they have.
That's why he picks a lot of like grounded players and stuff.
Ready to go on the white box.
But even then, like, it's just anything that's tracking heavy. So even Andalus not too bad. Just whatever tanks.
There's a lot of pressure on him. Has to anchor the point. Has to find a big ultimate. He has to also counter the Ultron's rage coming up in a second. Jolly trying to force it out. He does, but does he live? No. Oh no. He had to live. Meteor M a little bit late and doesn't connect either. Oh wait, trade it though. They get rid of the Lena. Sure, you don't find anything with the Meteor M, but that ultimate's too late from that Fox. The White Fox ultimate gonna get taken out. Invis boundary's perfect. Millennia gets stolen upon, but does have the drone. Eventually goes down. Did he have damage? Who's got it done? Melio's there with the
Nah.
bomb, and no
Tootsie
way.
is going
Slowly
crazy.
but surely they're getting it done. Here comes the Deadpool. Trying to bounce, trying to get those upgrades, and the portal is here.
Looking at Mario character the way he's trying to jump around and try to prolong with an roll, but 2C
Catches out
is
so.
going crazy. The Doctor Strange portal comes in next. They're finding all these pile picks. Overtime ticking away. It's FlyQuest about
Oh my god,
to take
FlyQuest
a
should
map
win this.
Off of 100 Thieves. TTK, Silent Seduction. They flip the point back in their favor, and 2C still has a Dance of the Butterfly.
Yeah, it's 5 quest points now.
Are you
Holy.
kidding me? Overtime's
Capping
ticking
Blade,
down.
yeah.
They lose
I
Jolly,
don't know. I don't really like Cap, but you see him a lot more in pro play because of the he's acting like a third support ult, right? So, and he can kind of do his job. He still does pressure. He still does damage. He still have to somewhat respect it. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, nah.
Oh my goodness. There's just one left. This invisible woman. And she's gone back into the pit of hell. FlyQuest wins map 1.
Wow.
FlyQuest
Wow.
are like main quest. They heard us. They heard everybody.
I've been playing a lot more Mantis. Her shots are
are
wonky. About the same as Bucky. Yeah, it's all projectile and it's super weird. Tip on projectile characters like that is you want to be jumping more often. and that increases your chances of getting more headshots when. So if you keep jumping at head level, it's like really nice.
In essence,
Holy,
Tuesday
Tuesday went
for
crazy.
MVP, and wow, FlyQuest put what a performance there. Strong mentals, iron mentals. Now, Vicky, does that shatter the mentals of 100 Thieves? Because what an unexpected map one.
Jeff is
My
OP.
brain
No,
is shattered
actually.
right now. What did we just witness? 2C, 19 finals. Delena had 19 finals too, but it was the
5-2,
impact
5-2
of the
on
rest
Mantis
of
so far. That's
FlyQuest
pretty
to
good.
come back in. Ken with an MVP play. What cinematic first game to open this series. I'm sitting on the edge
Wow.
of my seat, dog, man. I cannot believe it. Honestly, I was thinking to myself, all right, do I get some coffee? You know, we're going the distance, maybe. You know, it's this last series. Well, guess what?
The
I am
lineup
gonna
was
get
doing
that
so
coffee
much
when we
that
come out of
game.
this break
But
coming up shortly.
Tuesday
Tuesday
was
right
also
now,
doing a lot
34 and
too.
7. Look at this. Following up with Vez, too, who got the 9 final hits, dog, man.
Yeah, what a Chad, man. Oh my goodness, what a play. And overall, like I straight up, I'm starting to be a believer in like, well, I mean, I've already kind of been anti-triple. I know they said that's the meta potentially for next week. A lot of the pros did, but I feel like it's just not proactive. Like I really
Solid
don't.
became
Like it feels like the
meta for
Ultron
2
you have to
weeks
play
again,
back,
and
Selfie
this is what
is a
happens.
player
Yeah,
that likes to play
it's
aggressive
that's the
offense,
whole
like we saw
like that's why they
Tuesday.
banned
And
DD.
when you play
They had to ban
Ultron,
DD in
you're
order to play
stagnant,
Salak. If you don't ban
and
DD, then
Kansas
you can't
being
play
right
Salak.
back at it seems to be the catalyst because it's as you mentioned. I mean, Tuesday was just farming.
I
them.
started on Thor, swapped Mantis, and third support,
I
and
am,
one
like,
CPS.
appalled right now. I
Left me
was
on
there.
Mantis and
We
2
were
support comp.
there.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
FlyQuest
It is
take
doable
the
to play
map
Mantis and 2
versus
support comp,
100 Thieves.
but
This is insane to see as we get set up here. Wait to see.
I mean,
what
I
the
don't know.
second
I've
half
seen her in
is
2
looking
support
like,
comp and
but
still work
before
out
we
like
throw it over to Brick to
decently
make
well.
sure
That's how
everybody's
good of a
ready,
character
we
she
have to
is.
see what 100 Thieves is thinking,
It's
because
just
also
your
like
tanks have to know
Conrad,
how to play
as
around
former
it.
player yourself, like what does
And
this do to your
DPS.
mental? We're gonna have to find out. You know, you can answer us when we come out of this break. We gotta get calm and collected. We'll come back for game number 2 on the other side.
Holy. Yeah, FlyQuest winning that is actually kind of crazy. Especially on that last fight when Solak was just getting on the people that were like super staggered. I don't know why Ultron was playing there. But like the only way you can be playing there on this Ultron is when you already secure a point and you're pushing up together. Then yeah, you can be playing up in that window, but I don't know, he kind of fumbled. It really came down to whoever got point first wins the map. What's going on? We're just watching MRI. We just saw FlyQuest won their first point against 100 Thieves. It's pretty good. I don't know who's gonna win, to be honest. I think this is gonna be another close one, but I don't know. I honestly might see FlyQuest winning this one. It's hard to say. Like, Delena and Tuesday was popping off. I wish they would have buffed Ultron. He has some of the best skins in the game. No, actually, they should buff him a little bit more. But I feel like they should keep going on with the utility. I really like the change in direction Ultron has been given. Like, I think before he was more on like, oh, he just flies. Here's your killing drones and I do damage. That's it. Like, that's the entire interaction. But now you can start like, you get a speed boost, you get damage, damage amp, you get shield. For your teammates like that, and it's great. And now I want them to rework his ult. Out of everything, I want them to rework his ult. The adrenaline crash after playing these games has to be debilitating. No, it probably does, but I don't know. It depends on the person. Some people are able to like handle on stage pretty well, and especially playing at like the highest level, like they all have to be on it. Yeah, when it comes to Ultron, I wish his ult was similar to how Gambit ult works. Like, everyone gets their own drone that's like enhancing them, and they're all like jumping and everything. Like, I feel like that the Gambit ult should be actually Ultron's ult. Still broken, of course, right? You'd probably have to tweak it, but I think it would make Ultron more picked, seem cooler, see more
this
triple
first
support. I think it would
Yes,
be a
I'm
little
not
bit more
mixing up
fun
the
and
team names. It is,
entertaining
in fact,
than him
FlyQuest
just
taking
doing
that
like
first map
shooting,
off of 100
healing,
Thieves.
and damage.
And I think a lot of that
'Cause that's
came
all
down
it
to, like,
does. It's kinda boring.
insane individual performances. Like those were heroic moments.
And it would make sense. So
I mean, honestly, sorry to interrupt you again. I know you wanted to say something.
No,
but
no,
like,
no.
It's like I feel like that meme where we're seeing like the coffin dance. Like we were like bringing it out for FlyQuest already. We were like, okay, we'll do the coffin dance, ready for FlyQuest's demise. But it was the Uno Reverso other meme. Call an ambulance, but not for me, because 100 Thieves look like they're the washed up team right now.
Dude, 2C and Delena 1v1 was crazy. You know what it gives me, like, flashbacks of? I don't think we're gonna see it. It depends on, like, what the pick and ban phase is. But why is it, like, a part of me want to see, like, the Psylab 1v1? Like, the ego check real quick? Like, 2C going crazy. Delena can't do more. What is going on?
this Bibis on Mago is so
FlyQuest
good.
actually managed
I'm
to
getting a
take
kill
a
on each
map
ult
of
now.
100
No,
teams.
it's
We've only seen
insane.
100
That
teams
buff
once,
is like
right? And then
insane.
you take a look at, like, FlyQuest. I don't think they've won a map, like, a single time. Like, a single time in the
It's really
last
easy to
season
hit
we've
like
seen them.
shots
Not
on
against
Magneto
the
now,
Team Cafe
which is
Rose.
pretty.
They
It's
didn't
pretty
take a map
nice.
against
Quality of
Central
life change.
yesterday.
Was it
And now
needed?
we see them take the first map, their first map win against 100 Thieves. What is going on?
And it's crazy because round 2 was so
I don't think it was needed. And it feels like the same patch as when they buffed Luna Snow on Freeze.
Okay, never mind. Like round 1 was a fluke. It's okay. Like 100 Thieves are in control, but even in round 3, for a lot of it, 100 Thieves look really, really strong there. Obviously, with like Delena doing like the Lord's work on that Elsa, getting away with like literally everything, getting so many great pickups in the neutral, just like constantly pushing the opposition back there. But man, FlyQuest, they're stringing things together. I also just really feel like this composition worked really well for them.
It did. It really did. And I think that's like what Vicky said. I mean, it's because they have 2Z and you can play around them, right? It's excellent play out of the whole team. And, we'll see how it goes moving forward. Like, I feel like this kind of is like an overarching macro situation. Like, it feels like nobody knows the meta, right? And that's why this weekend was crazy, right? Nobody understands it.
I guess so.
Everybody thinks they understand it, so then they're all having like massive egos on Twitter talking about how, oh, I know the meta, you're crazy for not knowing the meta, but nobody knows the meta. Everybody is stupid, okay? You don't have to
Everyone's
be.
a liar.
Everyone's a liar, okay? We're all dumb. You can join us in the dumb pool of people because, I mean, listen, everything's gonna change up next week. Like, we'll probably see a complete different comp next week.
No, I
when,
agree.
White Fox changes.
That's true.
I think now with the
Because
ultimate
then,
changes,
like, okay, then where do you go into when
are
it
they
comes to a second
echoing?
map, right? Like,
Oh,
we did this
is
on
it
Dom.
echoing?
We was mentioned how volatile Dom
Oh,
is.
I know why.
Obviously, we're on the pre-patch of the White Fox
Did that
changes
fix
and
it?
the Elsa nerves, but we're moving ahead.
I don't even know if that
here
fixes
with the
it.
100 Thieves, like, really
I
only
totally forgot to
having
mute
that one
the
series
second
to, like, look
source.
back
My
on,
bad.
which went to a game 5. Can FlyQuest even replicate this domination onto a different game mode is the biggest question mark, right? Or will this be another Nightmare 2.0 situation?
Okay, they're taking us to Midtown here. That is, of course, 100 Thieves map choice, and FlyQuest did win this first one. How do you feel about Midtown?
I think this is a very good 100 Thieves map. I think in the past...
This
we've
is
seen
good.
them excel on
Because
it.
the 100 Thieves is really
But
good
that's
with the
also
front to
old
back
100
line.
Thieves. The interesting
They have
part,
really
I think,
strong
of the
frontline
map
tanks
now
where
is
TDK
that
can
this is
control
the
most of the
perfect
point.
time, I think, for our viewers to be tuning in.
And
Because,
he's able to play Emma.
we've had a lot of roster shakeups, a lot of storylines, I think, going into the year. But everything is flipped on their heads when, like you mentioned earlier, Zoe, with freaking Vest being the last one on FlyQuest after that mid-season, and then everything shaking up. This is the perfect time to get invested, I think, for our viewers. And Midtown was a known map for 100 Thieves, but it's new 100 Thieves, and they just lost map number 1. So do we really even understand this team right now? I don't know.
Vicky's like, I don't.
I really feel like I
Vicky's
can
like,
counter
you
support
lost,
ults again.
you
If
have
Cloak or
lost by
Punisher
rate.
No,
This is
no,
win a
like
game, it
100
feels
Thieves
useless
also
having a
played
Mac. No, it really
a little
does.
different than
Like,
what
I
we
really
saw
do
in
like the
initial
change.
shock. So they definitely like tried some different stuff out. I don't think they had.
I don't know, it made it more
different.
fun.
Seems to be the flavor of the day
It was more
today.
satisfying getting kills with it.
Do you expect them to kind of run it back? Like, what compositions do you want to see them on?
I kind of want to see, if you're FlyQuest at least in this case, I want to see like 2C continuously being enabled, right? Because it could get a little difficult. Once again, like we saw, I mean, we could see like what.
This is gonna be really hard for 2C to play this map. This map forces a lot more front to back, and it's really hard to get around. So I don't think he's gonna find as much value. And their team also has a lot more players, so
It's
definitely gonna be a harder.
Vanguard hold up on the defensive
Hey
side.
Platinum, how you
We've been
doing?
Seeing a different iteration where sometimes it's that triple strat instead. How comfortable do you
Yep.
feel playing on that triple strat if we do see that?
Yeah,
coming
this
out,
is a
depending if
pretty
it's
good
gonna be 100 versus
triple
FlyQuest?
stat map.
Where is that flexibility, right? Kind of goes back to the topic that we keep highlighting throughout the course of today, which is playing Hero Mania, being able to pull basically a hero out of these bag of tricks to make sure that you can showcase that flexibility.
It also always bodes well, right? When you have one particular hero that really stood out, that really like caused trouble in that first map, then you kind of turn the enemy's ban strat like
Yep.
upside down, because then suddenly they feel like, oh, we do have to prioritize that. Like, do we really want them to get away with a Mantis pick? Maybe not, because then they're enabling a Tuzi on a different level, right? So like, now you might have to adjust your bans that you initially had kind of like mapped out already for the series.
Yeah, you can't go in with a plan, I think, is what we're kind of coming to terms with.
It's like
which-
the plan is not to have a plan.
Yeah, kind of, a little bit. Like, you have to be flexible,
What?
like we mentioned, but it's...
What do you
it
mean
is
the plan
a
is not to
bit
have
of
a
a task for all these squads, but a lot of them are sort of gravitating, I feel like, towards that triple composition like we've seen, whether it be triple with Mantis, whether it be triple with Ultron, sometimes with the Adam Warlock like we saw, but, you know, maybe the shoe doesn't fit sometimes, Zoe. Like, sometimes you can't play triple strategist all the time because, well, we fell off from Mantis with the damage boost, like Vicky was mentioning, giving that to Tuzi, but we don't have that anymore once we lose the Mantis. I don't think we can just transition that same playstyle over to the Ultron.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a whole lot harder, right? Because even though you have that extra damage impact, you're gonna have to rely on the extermination too, and seeing how quickly you can get that. And
Yep.
let's go back to the pick and ban phase. A change up, even though FlyQuest did win that first map, of course, again, domination. It went down to the wire in that round 3. But a change up would be, are we gonna keep Cryo banning the Daredevil / Gambit? Can we look at what Delena's impact is and maybe take care of the Elsa instead? You know, maybe they feel like it's still a threat.
I wonder if they're
People
gonna ban
rush,
Elsa.
but
They really
obviously with
should.
Delena
But
getting so much
ban
impact,
Elsa or
it was
Emma?
Like
those are the
19 final hits.
Elsa
we
or
saw
Emma, yeah.
did almost
Elsa or Emma.
38k damage on the Elsa alone was obviously a problem in comparison to like everybody
If I was
else.
playing against
Mini
100
was doing
Thieves,
a
ban
good
Elsa,
job on the
Emma,
ban pool, but comparatively to everybody else on 100 Thieves, that was the number
maybe
one problem. 'Cause it also
Wolf.
forced a lot of
No,
sacrifice.
probably not Wolf. Because I don't want DD
Yeah, that was
open.
pretty much the case already in
Gambit
their match
open.
against Energy Shock, right? Like, Delena on the Elsa was like
We still
the
have 2 more
bright spot. It
bans,
was,
so I
like,
guess
the
probably
issue, on the table.
going against
So
triple
I'd be
sucks.
surprised to see an Elsa
So
slipping
probably
through it, especially because
Mantis.
FlyQuest, we've not really
I'm
seen them
fine
utilizing
having them
the
run
Elsa, so
Adam.
there's no reason for them to like
Probably gonna run
completely
Adam.
ignore it, so they
into
could
these.
have that in a ban priority pretty high up, probably.
This goes to show, I think, to all of our players that are like, man, we got Elsa gapped or whatever. Sometimes it doesn't matter, right? Like, I feel like, you know, for as good as Delena was in that last map, they still took the L, right? Like, that's kind of crazy. So you can't really carry with one character. And I think going to that, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're right about the macro of it, but I'm kind of leaning still towards Vicky, where it's like we're going over to a map where Elsa dominates. Like, I
Yep.
think
Yep.
Midtown is not a great dive map. It's super long range, and Delena's popped off there before. I'm a little worried for FlyQuest.
Me
So
too.
Elsa
While we get
must
everything
go.
set ready too. The Elsa
Get the
server and
admin
admin
out.
still is a problem here, Zoe.
Yeah, I see we are heading to Midtown, as you said, convoy map next, and yeah, we're of course still waiting
Yeah.
for what the teams have in store. I'm also just like actually baffled at the fact that FlyQuest, 3 of their players are playing on ping.
Yep.
And they managed to like make this look so good. If FlyQuest is taking this serious, like, how does our idea of this group shift? Because then we're looking at 100 Thieves at an 0-2 in week 1.
Oh no. Oh no. It's scary to bring that up because it could very
Sorry.
well
I
happen.
don't mean
Well-
to scare you.
Well, I'm only scared because I got into a tussle with the 100 Thieves fans before for no reason because they thought I was too biased against their team.
That,
even
that seems
though-
like a you thing to do. Not gonna lie.
Okay, that is. But I like them. I like 100 Thieves' chances, except if they go down 0-2 this week. Not a good look, obviously. But I still believe on Midtown they're very good.
Yeah, that would hurt
on
100
map
Thieves if they do go
based on how
into.
they played. it depends on what FlyQuest does in that sort of ban phase.
And they have to,
I
like,
think
if
we
they
can-
don't win
I
this
think we can
map,
agree
this
that,
is gonna be
like, the ban
scary
phase is
because this is
kind
the
of
map they
similar to what we've
picked,
seen throughout the whole
right?
tournament,
And this is
that
100
also,
Thieves.
like you
I
said, Vicky, is-
arguably 100 Thieves like best map.
Yeah, now
Because
our
of
teams
their
need an extra
composition.
minute, so we of course are happy to give that to them. We're heading into a break, and when we're back, we're hopefully
Another
gonna have,
one?
map number 2.
Oh,
ready for
man.
all of you.
Hold still. I'm trying to help.
Lights out. Suffer in the darkness. Let's pop back up under their noses. Us against the world.
My time to shine.
I think there's more breaks in the stream because in previous tournaments they would throughout the ban phase. I don't think they're doing that this time. Oh really? I guess they do need a little bit more time to think, especially like when banning, like during ban phase. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna protect. I think they really want to protect Galena's what was it, Elsa? So we'll see. I would personally ban Galena's Elsa, even though it didn't carry last game. That's because they were playing domination, so it's not as much of a problem. Yo, Jorda, how you doing? More MRC tonight? A little bit. So it is a free VOD review day. Just make sure you post your VOD reviews within the VOD reviews submission forms, within the Discord. You can also post it within chat. Are they showcasing all of them? Oh, I guess they are. That cap skin is pretty cool. No, I like the cap skin. Why he's showing his belly button? That's funny. Wait, is he actually? I didn't really take too close of a look at the cap skin. Yeah, Curlins are on their break trying to figure out the bans. Energy, or not Energy, FlyQuest did win the first map, and now this is going along second map where 100 Thieves take Midtown. So they have to win this one. If they go 2-0, it's going to be rough. It is going to be rough for 100 Thieves. So we'll see. Oh, I wish I watched Virtus Pro. I wonder how their match went. I think it happened like yesterday morning, so. I just played a match, so I couldn't figure out what went wrong from the VOD. I can definitely take a look at it. If you just give me the VOD name, like I have like a structure. If you can do that for me, AJ, if you're still here. The command, I forgot what it was. But it would show you like what you need to like, the format of how to submit your VODs. And I'll happily give you a free VOD review tonight. I just want to see the next match. This is a long break. Is it a 5-minute break?
Day 1 and day 2, we are here to fill you in. Starting with day 1, Chip. I mean, we saw kind of the debut for a lot of these teams. Some of them knocking off the rust, others coming right into the new form of what roster mania is. Day 1 has come and gone. Day 2, though, you were the caster of it, man. What did you see? What were some words to describe it?
Sure, I'll keep it quick. I think teams started waking up. We saw them actually perform and step into their shoes a little bit and shake off some of those nerves. A lot of the series going to game 3, and they were much more intense than I thought from day 1.
Well, listen, man, let's go and kick it off with Nightmare versus Yeah, We Lost. And this was a close one. I mean, the word to describe the first match was probably the closest match right there with it that we've seen in Ignite yet, or at least this year, too. Both these teams kind of flex that they are the dive ones. But what did you see breaking it down? Because there's a lot to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to discuss. I mean, like you said, very close, 99 to 99 on Dom on map 3, off the rip. And even then, there was ultimates coming in at the end that almost looked like it was going to sway it back in the favor of Yeah, We Lost. Nightmare did look super solid. A lot of these similar comps. Jeff was seeing a ton of play. We even saw Spider-Man, Venom, all the stuff you would expect. Psylocke was in there too. Daredevil went available. I mean, these teams are just very aggro, but they are incredibly fun to watch.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it looked like Vision he did not miss a step from last year. Vision was just popping off. And I felt like Nightmare had a very good control of that going forward. And then, Yeah, We Lost. They just came back into form. And I have to give them credit because they didn't struggle in the MRC. And sometimes when that's your practice and then you go into something like this, like you're kind of not used to being down. Also, Jitward, we got to see the Deadpool, which is always fun. And, you know, we'll see how long that kind of lasts as things have been patched and, you know, approached a little bit. But do you think they have a good step moving forward? A lot of people had them high in their rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they are confident right now, too.
Welcome back, one and all. We are still awaiting the beginnings of Map 2 after FlyQuest took that first one away from 100 Thieves. A phenomenal performance across the board from that team with lots of individual heroics and highlight reels. I am very, very excited to see what both of these teams are going to adjust to on that second map. We already talked a little bit about our expectations for the ban phase here. Generally, obviously, like having a longer break here as a player, is that an opportunity to overcook here, Dogman?
It might be for sure. Like, I mean, like, you know, that you could potentially be tilted about a potential server selection. Like, there's all that situation going into your heads. But yeah, you just can't overthink it. You know, you just got to pick the right heroes that work for you. And based on what we saw in the last map, we probably want to try to prioritize keeping that Mantis again. It is tough because that would mean that we're going to see that Elsa go through, and then yeah, it's like you're just like trying to argue about whether you want to get a different type of pizza or whatever. Like, it's like, you know what you really want at the end of the day. Why are we having this discussion, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely super deep strategic plays here. We get to witness in each of those matches as the teams are figuring out their own game style or play style rather, as well as of course their opponents. So things have to be very fluid, very open.
Yeah, you think about too, like getting iced out, right? Because momentum is everything. I like to call it out as it is because it's a long delay and you want to be able to get fired up and get right back into the action. But to be completely transparent to everybody wondering what's taking so long, it's just about selecting the server that they're going to be playing on. We keep mentioning it with 3 players on FlyQuest playing on Ping. It's about finding that middle ground between these 2 teams to make that decision to come to an ending point here, to figure out what this next map is going to look like, because currently FlyQuest in this best of 3 are sitting at match point, dog man.
Yeah, match point and FlyQuest, you know, they've looked good in the past on these map types, you know, but they have to really come to terms with the fact that, you know, like you mentioned, there's 3 people on Ping, and it's always going to be a discussion over what server you have to play, you know, because playing on Ping and Marvel Rivals is not easy, you know, like you'll have, especially for the projectile characters, your aim is going to be even more delayed, and it can really throw off a lot of your synchronization in terms of like your aim and all that sort of stuff.
And of course, we do hope that none of these delays are impacting the momentum of the team here. Both teams are still looking to get their first victory on the board here in our opening week. FlyQuest currently leading the charge 1-0. Can 100 Thieves tie it up, or will FlyQuest run away with it?
Vicky, what do you think? I'm thinking this is going to be an extended series, and we're actually going to have to stay past 12 o'clock. It's going to be past midnight, and the series is finally going to end 9 to 8. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, it's a good thing that I'm on complete degen schedule, because it goes hand in hand with the way that I've been gaming too late. You already know how it is, dog man. We banned out the Elsa. We've learned her lesson, and we also obviously come to an agreement in the what server we're going into, because I actually heard through the grapevine that I believe 100 Thieves wanted the Dallas server over the Virginia server that we just played on in that last game, and we're gonna have to see how that is influenced into FlyQuest and the way that they approach this, because it does make it easier for 2T to pop off. And as he's hovering over that Venom, we do get the protect over that Vanpool. So no Elsa, no Gambit for 100 Thieves. Whereas 100 Thieves wanted to prio the Loki protect, and because they prioed that first, that means that they won't have the Gambit, because it had allowed FlyQuest to get that second ban next.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of teams take us to like Shin Shibuya and stuff, where you know, you see that type of hero, but the Mantis getting removed based on what we saw in the last series, I think adds up. But for FlyQuest, what do they want to do, right? Because they've already gone for that Elsa ban and the Gambit, you know, does that change up their playstyle now? You know, what do they want to go next? Do we want to go towards that Vanpool? Nope, going to be towards that Mantis, so they don't want to necessarily get that one-sided matchup. More than likely, we'll see 100 Thieves go for that Protect towards the very end, unless they want to change it up. But this is more in line, I think, what we saw today out of our previous matches based on how they performed.
Yeah, the call it though on getting the Loki Protect though, when they saw that 100 Thieves had banned out the Gambit, which means you will not get the double Raging Royal Flush. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. Of course, since we are moving on to Convoy, the Invisible Woman Hover, it's going to be the next ban, so you will not have the double Invisible Boundary coming out online if you get that God of Mischief copy.
Yeah, I guess this is what we've seen at the end too. Invis into Wolverine Protect, so we can play the Wolverine, and we don't want that Invis on the opposite side. Does that mean FlyQuest go for the Invis ban too? Like, maybe just like, based on what we've seen earlier, we could see that. The group ban would kind of make sense, actually, with the Loki and stuff, and also based on the fact that you want to play group probably, but that still leaves, you know, Wolverine open for both sides. However, group not available for 100 Thieves. Meanwhile, FlyQuest can't play the Invisible Woman, so they would have to rely on, you know, that Fade for Zelos or Magneto Bubbles. So this should be unique. I think it's a very interesting end to this like ban phase.
Oh,
but 100
there we
Thieves, the fact they get to play
Oh
Wolverine.
my god,
is
everything
nice
was breaking on me.
and a lot of really good Wolverine players take.
Well, they're playing it now.
The stage.
And Vanpool, right? Because we
They
know
ban-
how
wait, the
Vanpool
Protect
likes to
Loki.
scale throughout the course of these games. And
Ooh.
since we are on Convoy, you know that we can go the distance, and it makes it even better for Vanpool to get those upgrades over the long term. And seeing how this is going to work out, right? FlyQuest just getting set up. Melio going to be able to load in shortly. Vez looking like they're going to be the ones hovering over that Vanpool. Jolly rolling out on the Magneto. You talk about the Magneto getting those bubbles. It's going to be important for Zelos to be able to get away with this, but at least they
Plus
won't
button
really
is
have
still
to
grayed
worry
out,
too much,
and
aside from Self that
that's
could
weird.
get a kidnap out of the Eternal Bond onto that Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, as long as your account is
They're
verified, you should be
thinking
able to post within the VOD
hard
submissions.
to, like,
First you have to
Melio
title it, and then you just
Maybe he was
post,
hovering
and then
Bucky
you
at a
can put in the
point.
rest of the information in
I'm
that
curious how Tuzi
in that
does
forum.
without the Mantis damage boost, you know, reliant more on the Terra Cape from Zelos for that damage boost. But they know they're going to be playing that thing.
Yeah, right after
composition
this
to counter
map,
any potential
we'll do
dive
free VOD reviews.
for FlyQuest. But regardless, they still had to think heavily about it. Starting off, though, 100 Thieves is on the attack with that Phoenix alongside their Loki Invis backline.
Ooh, Tusi though gets called
Ew.
out immediately by Delena. Says it's fine. I don't
Phoenix
need
looks
the
really
outside.
strong
He's
here.
just as
Okay.
explosive in dealing with so
Vinny
much
on
of the damage.
Bing?
In fact, Millennia then finds
Interesting.
Vest. 2 out originally from the side of FlyQuest with Tusi coming
Hey,
back.
nice.
It's a lot of damage output here, but they have to look behind them. The Squids are also there, and Melio is the next victim. 100 Thieves, they're upset, and they're clearing the point while painting a path for themselves to that next checkpoint.
I'm curious what they run after this, because I don't know. I don't personally. I'm not a big fan of playing Psylocke into 100 Thieves comp. I mean, they have Invis, they have Loki to peel. Tuzi's gonna hard shoot tanks, I suppose, but he needs to not get picked off like that previous fight. It's always tough against a full counter dive composition from 100 Thieves, and they're already fronting to back their way towards the very end with 3 minutes left.
Melio making that swap up to the Punisher with Jolly taking so much damage to kidnap. Somebody save him, but nobody could out-heal that damage. In fact, Vinny booting him out too. And fighting that next pick here as the...
Oh yeah, I did see a question. I thought I answered it. So the reason why 100 Thieves wanted to pick this map is because yes, they're trying to force a lot more front to back, and this map is really push and pull. It's really strong for Emma Frost, because someone has to stand cart constantly, and Emma Frost is the best character to like keep pushing that cart. So yeah, they should be sweeping in the front to back line right now. They can't run FlyQuest like traditional comp, which is like Cap and Tank Pool, because it's really hard to engage. Like this is the map where you want to death ball, right?
And when he just doesn't teleport away, or
Another thing is the angle in the sidelines. It really isolates you as a player. There's not a lot of like support line angles like LOS whenever you're taking these off angles, which really sucks. So it's really hurting your team more than like helping, unless you get a pick. Right, you have to be like really good.
They're gonna be able to just hold forward because Delena's the one that's dictating a lot, and Self being on this Wolverine, it's gonna be so destructive. Look at Zelos taking an off-angle position. Already used up that
Look at this rat angle, holy. But yeah, this is why like Rock is pretty good. He's able to support people that are in like these really off angles without dying.
Ready to go, just waiting it out shortly because right now FlyQuest in a contest on this point. They're so close to that second checkpoint, but he brings him back.
Yep,
kind of
forced
forces out
Orford
the
commitment
recontest,
with
and
Wolf.
Winnie finds Jolly. That's 3 out for FlyQuest. 100 Thieves.
Melio
They're
on-
mad. They're looking to speed run and
on
look at this
DD?
time bank.
I don't
They
think
still
DD
have
would work
5
here.
minutes on the clock.
Yeah, this is what we talk
Wow.
about. You know, teams being
Oh, lag. But yeah, we're going to see 100 Thieves like excel in the front to back part. They're falling apart, yeah.
That's what FlyQuest
This is pretty much what they
They're trying
planned
to play
for.
dive, and
100
they're really
Thieves,
touch
they
Taylor,
can't
right?
play
They touch the
Groot,
objective,
Mantis,
moving forward. And you know, if you go there, you're dead. Just like we've seen Jolly feed multiple times
Gambit,
over and over again. It's not necessarily his fault. Playing dive
or
on
Elsa.
Envoy or
So, yeah.
convergence is always going to be
Yeah, that
trouble,
looks right.
unless you're on like that first point where things are very, very centralized.
If anything, I would
It's
ban
not easy
TTK's
because Self just gets
Emma
that
Frost. I would ban
shot
Frost,
from Vinny,
Groot,
and then can just kinda grab
leave
it when he
Elsa
wants.
open, and keep.
Also, they just
Ooh.
sort of secure the payload
It's
the whole
between
time.
Elsa and
So it's
Gambit.
just
That's
been
the hard
moving
part.
Non-stop. Barely anybody's touched. Finally, we use ults.
Yeah, this is one of those really tricky.
You would have to
chokepoints
find an
where
answer in order
once you
to
get
like
held
win
here,
the
it can be
fight against
difficult to make a
Gambit.
comeback, and I like the way that FlyQuest were at least able to recontest.
This is a good
the first
Gambit
time.
map.
They hold back
Because
on
Gambit's
Thieves
allowed to
because
like
with
just
the
sit back
four-minute
and just
time
farm
bank, it
ult,
is dwindling
and you
down.
just
Look
win.
at Delena does have a reset as well as TTK with a Sonic Seduction. As Self is waiting from the side, looking to see if they can try to get the kidnap, but with the dance of the Cutterflies, Tusi's trying to isolate them, and it still fights Millennia.
Yeah, that was well timed. I mean, perfectly timed that in terms of the ultimate. The follow-up was there. Used the see you later earlier. They didn't use anything.
Damn,
Self just
lots
wanted
of-
to get some position.
yeah, they
Maybe
didn't even
try to
use
get the kidnap or
anything for that
something.
fight. The
Like,
card's
they
right
used the
there.
ultimate,
They're gonna
sent
have
back
to.
spawn, and
Animal
he's gonna
Crossing
be set up
backline?
behind,
Yup.
Getting picked off, right? Melio, who is now on the Phoenix,
Seems like it's not
trying
really
to
working out
match
here
up
though.
opposite side of
You
the
don't
map.
need
Delena,
Animal Crossing backline.
regardless, you're still trying to
You don't
break
need
down.
that here.
Oh my goodness, Delena just got 3 down.
Whoa.
What the hell was that?
Oh my, okay, well, Delena back to the drawing board. Delena, every time they go around that left side corner, it just, been absolute
Okay.
execution. Putting them in the microwave.
But yeah, I don't
literally
like the
one
animal
of the
backline
100
here.
at least coming right
It
back
just doesn't
around.
make
To
sense.
follow up, Jolly has a survivability with the freedom
You
charge.
can still get the same amount of piercing and healing and better ultimate if you just play Invis.
Going down in weird situations. Invisible bounty to counter the Phoenix
I guess they
on the
banned
opposite
Invis
side.
though, so they can't even play
Something else
Invis.
that looks like Vest did use
They can play Invis game it or but they can play Loki. Why don't you just play Loki, Luna, or honestly Luna and what's her name? Mindfox would be okay here.
I do have to give a shout out.
Rocket into Phoenix? Yeah, exactly. I think there's like I don't like their support line. They got all doesn't make sense.
Protection comes in. They cannot get the kidnap here, and the Itch Chef is running
At least
away
for the
again,
map,
kind of
it's not
sending him
needed,
over to the left
especially
side,
the way
and
they're
Delene
playing.
Getting some revenge onto Tusi. The BRB will bring Tusi back at the very least. That Dance of the Cutterfly is very close to being online.
The only one that makes sense is Rocket. I think Rocket's okay, but like Jeff, it doesn't really make sense. But as I said, like taking off angles on this map is like really risky. It's really hard to do because you're always like out of LOS from your supports, and the only supports that can get to you in time would be a Rocket and Jeff. But I don't think Jeff would be good here.
He's been hunted down on the high ground by Delena.
Oh, they're calling him out. Melios trying to get away. They're trying to use the comps to call out where Melios is. But with the Sia, Sellers actually brings them back to health. So is Vinny, though, rallying up the troops of 100 Thieves to try to steal this victory and get this payload to the finish ground. With the Freedom Charge, though, leading everybody forward. Self fights fast. The BRB is getting so much impact. And the Dance the Cutterfly, can it find its mark? No, Zealous is getting harassed and nobody's looking at Delena.
The fact that he's lived so long kind of crazy. Delena finally taken out by Tuzi, so there was at least one person. Passive used. Self also needs to keep going off. Best, poor guy, keeps having to anchor the cart, and nobody's going to anchor versus TTK. Job done. 1 minute and 25 seconds left. The 100 Thieves cap out.
You know, it's serious when
they're gonna dominate this
Emma
one.
comes out on board and starts choke slamming and getting so much damage done off that beam, which is at 100.
Yeah, this is like a really good
right
ML
side once they broke
map.
through
So
that spawn will choke. This is the 100 Thieves that we're used to seeing, right? You could take away the Elsa from Delena, but that's fine. We've seen Delena pop off so many times already in the past, Dogman, and also pinpointing the threat that has been Tusi, preventing Tusi from getting actually set up, and it looks like Tusi had enough, also going over to the Phoenix.
I think it is interesting, too, because we saw so much prioritization towards the Ultron earlier, but they're just not wanting to play it anymore. They're just not confident in how either Self plays it or whatever, but they're playing the triple defense. And considering it's like you mentioned, like TTK on the Emma was sort of that just counter to whatever FlyQuest were doing dive-wise, and it's always gonna be tough. Like we said,
it's so hard to dive here. It is
only
like
a few
really
times
hard.
You could do it, you know, on the Deadpool map and stuff, but realistically, this is not the map to do it, and you can see exactly why 100 Thieves just walked down FlyQuest really without falter.
I never called myself that.
The way that this series has been going already, though, Dogman, no one really predicted this. I hope everybody's awake, ready to pay attention, because FlyQuest have a mountain to climb. At least 100 Thieves have that minute and 25 seconds. Will it be enough here as FlyQuest try to get this payload to that finish line, too? Zealous on that Cloak and Dagger, just trying to make sure that they get enough of that extra healing, too. And gonna see if they can try to paint that path with the Eternal Bond. Jolly as well on that Groot. It's great, too, because they don't really have to worry about TTK having that Emma beam at the 100 on top of the Groot wall.
And they're going to play full front-to-back style. It's on TTK to not go down or Self on the height. But he wants to keep that pressure up, obviously, and they want him to by hard pocketing him, making sure he uses cooldowns to stay up there. Vinny's even coming to help out. Cart's still pushing forward, by the way, still in charge of FlyQuest's command. But they still kind of have to press on forward. These strats are building ultimates in the meanwhile. Vinny gets pressured but has to back up, and Self still control the height. Going to do a ton of damage here. Ultimate's going to be built up maybe shortly for the defensive side or offensive, because Ken's 80% towards that copy. So maybe they play slow, try to build it and then go in, but maybe it's red because, oh, Tuzi goes down.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And Tuzi was trying to take an off angle. Huge on Vinny, though, to be able to get into the position right there. Winnie, too, being able to have so many off angles with the clones. Delena finding Ken before he could get into the safety of the spawn room gates. And 100 Thieves are holding back FlyQuest all the way in the doors.
Yeah, good for Delena, man, considering how, you know, in the past, for 100 Thieves, I think it's
100 Thieves is just playing the defense right, like,
now,
better
you know,
as
after
well.
Terra left, it's definitely been more focused.
That's
You know,
interesting, like TDK on Angela, because they understand that high ground is really important on this map. Vinny on the... It seems like they solved this map.
Make a play. Everybody's stunned temporarily by 100 Thieves on the high ground due to
I like
TDK.
it.
Karmic Revival was also almost online for Delena. TTK
But yeah,
has been
yep, this is
managed to
expected.
swap the
Like
Mosquito
them going
with
Adam,
Melio and the
Loki,
Flush, and they bring
Invis,
him
yeah.
right back. Karmic Revival gonna be able to have Delena move into a different off angle. You see the Lamp that reports out. Melio though gets the kidnap, finds Delena, has to prevent this pass
Delena?
from coming off.
You don't have to
Slow
push her,
team on
Delena.
offense versus this triple composition. Interestingly enough, the res does come out. Invis boundary, they walk right into it. Best goes low and
Ooh,
this
nice.
is what we saw in the defense as well.
The
Jesus.
way that he was able to break his
Whoa.
ankles too and get the sub revive before getting the head after
Whoa.
head, this time on Zelos.
Disgusting.
No cloak and dagger, no eternal bond, and with the copy, Winnie also gets the get ready, set, go button, because rise again, my friends. 100 Thieves get to play extra aggressive. Now you're down to a minute and less than
Nah,
35
that's
seconds on the
crazy.
clock.
That's
For
actually
FlyQuest,
crazy.
They do have some ultimates online, Dogman, but I feel like they just haven't really been able to capitalize off of these strat ults that they also were using.
So how do you play around this? You would go, because you have TTK on Indula and you have everyone like playing in this corner, you would go on top left. I don't see enough teams going on the top left, going above the bunker that they're playing. When you play above the bunker, you can create this pinch effect, or start flushing them out of the bunker.
This is looking a lot
right?
like Mace from earlier on Nightmare. Like, how are we up this many people, ultimates and everything, and we're going down? Melio slam dunk.
Now, or you like effectively
Finally,
take.
they've gotten something going.
Ooh.
Ken goes down, no res here either.
That should be
so
enough for them to
finally,
like
this might be the end, but we're committing also to Zuzi's ultimate. So
push
now
this
it's
corner.
turning from an underinvestment.
Now, or you have control of the high ground and able to like poke out what's in the bunker, but because they have TTK on Angela, it's really hard to do so. They also have an
Being able to
Invis.
try to slam
so.
it down, FlyQuest get to excel, and they painted the path here. Even after losing on Nagata Mission, but the TTK stall comes in, and they finally brute force their way at least through this lane, but there is going to be a recontention from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, with ultimates too, I mean, we have to do something about Vinny. No Invisible Woman banned for FlyQuest, so he should be able to get this off for free, especially with no Magneto for FlyQuest's side. Meanwhile, Jolly with Melio, this has to be big. Jolly as well, the ultimate could go huge. Shoot tries to follow up his Wolverine in the sky. Connects onto Winnie, who has the ultimate. They get saved by the Invisible Boundary, and Delena's found Vess already.
Good
Clobbering time
invisible.
is huge, but they're in the Invisible Boundary and heal up.
He got melted down after the clobbering time, and with the Eye of
Yeah.
Agamotto, 100 Thieves, they are clearing
Yeah.
the point. They are telling FlyQuest,
Good choice,
"Don't
good
worry, you
choice
can
by
have
100
this
Thieves."
Dom, but we're coming with the comeback. No portal play, no recontention from Vez, and 100
Can
Thieves,
something like
they
4
stop
DBS
FlyQuest
to get
from
out
getting one check
and get
point
enough
on the
pressure out of the spawn room work? Yes, and you do see a lot of that. I would say the best going to get this bunker is Squirrel Girl, Moon Knight, Storm. They just didn't swap for some reason. They did not want to swap. I feel like triple DPS, 1 tank, and 2 supports would work, and then would just shove it out of the spawn hold. But they chose to like be like, okay, let's just try to brute force this with our macro, and that didn't seem to work. The only way you can brute force with macro is like what I said. Either you go in top right and poke out into the bunker, or you go in top left and go above the bunker and start flushing them out, right? Now, if TTK tried to enter in, he's in a position where he's out of LOS from like help, like at all, so he can't really like get any help. So it technically creates their own bunker, and they're able to go, and it basically flips the map on them, and that's why they needed to go left side. But I haven't seen
That's
a
why I
team
fell
yet to
back
do
on,
that
like,
yet.
Nightmare topic point, because it's kind of repeating itself just in a different form, where this is the 100 Thieves instead of like the space station games that we saw earlier on today. 2C, unfortunately, cannot do more, even making that swap over to the Bucky, making you also wonder, like, is this going to be the duelist lineup that you want to rely on in comparison to what we saw from TTK and Vinny when they also had self-swap up real quick to Lena? 17 final hits. The consistency is there, even if Delena had lost out with the rest of 100 Thieves in that first map, Dogman. But then you have to consider that the next map will be up to FlyQuest. Where will we be going? What server will we be playing on? We're gonna have to find out on the other side of this break.
Oh, So many breaks. At least they showed that as a 5-minute break this time. But yeah, they just didn't play that well. Energy got cooked. Yeah. Well, definitely check that out. I'm kind of curious what they ran. With a really good sport weekend. If you watch college basketball, honestly, maybe. I haven't really tried like watching any like sports recently. I haven't really been up to date with that. I do find like watching sports like a lot of fun, and yeah, you honestly can learn a lot. It's really cool though. The only type of sports that I'm like more up to date is probably like just esports, honestly. MLB starts this week. Oh shoot! Should I hop on that? Or I should probably make a poll whether you guys want to start seeing that content or not. To be fair, like I don't play basketball at all, so it's like definitely gonna be new to me. Well, I'm definitely down. But seems like one more map. It's 1-1, and after this, we're gonna do some VOD reviews. Let me close these. Let's see. Alright, we got a few. Alright, I'm gonna get some water.
Lights out. Suffer in the darkness. Let's pop back up under their noses. Us against the world.
My time to shine.
Holy, I am back. How long is this break? Let's see, what is the matchup right now? I don't know if I can see into here. This is considered the preseasons, right? Yeah, this is preseason. Where can I see the matches? Oh. Okay, only one VOD is up, but we're able to see the VOD. Steve Rogers, tuck your shirt in, please. Yeah, seems like a lot of people are voting for 100 Thieves.
Well, if you missed day 1 and day 2, we are here to fill
Yippee!
you in. Starting with day
Finally.
1, Chip, I mean, we saw kind of the debut for a lot of these teams. Some of them knocking off the rust, others coming
one
right
off.
into the new form of what roster mania is. Day 1 has come and gone. Day 2, though, you were the caster of it, man. What did you see? What were some words to describe it?
Sure, I'll keep it quick. I think teams started waking up. We saw them actually perform and step into their shoes a little bit and shake off some of those nerves. A lot of the series going to game 3, and they were much more intense than I thought from day 1.
Well, listen, man, let's go and kick it off with Nightmare versus Yeah, We Lost. And this was a close one. I mean, the word to describe the first match was probably the closest match right there with it that we've seen in Ignite yet, or at least this year, too. Both these teams kind of flex that they are the dive ones. But what did you see breaking it down? Because there's a lot to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to discuss. I mean, like you said, very close, 99 to 99 on Dom on map 3, off the rip. And even then, there was ultimates coming in at the end that almost looked like it was going to sway it back in the favor of Yeah, We Lost. Nightmare did look super solid. A lot of these similar comps. Jeff was seeing a ton of play. We even saw Spider-Man, Venom, all the stuff you would expect. Psylocke was in there too. Daredevil went available. I mean, these teams are just very aggro, but they are incredibly fun to watch.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it looked like Vision he did not miss a step from last year. Vision was just popping off. And I felt like Nightmare had a very good control of that going forward. And then, Yeah, We Lost. They just came back into form. And I have to give them credit because they didn't struggle in the MRC. And sometimes when that's your practice and then you go into something like this, like you're kind of not used to being down. Also, Jitward, we got to see the Deadpool, which is always fun. And, you know, we'll see how long that kind of lasts as things have been patched and, you know, approached a little bit. But do you think they have a good step moving forward? A lot of people had them high in their rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they are confident right now, too. We had the interview with Cartlover, and like I said in the interview, you know, he talked in the prior, we did kind of like a pre-interview test. He said, I'll see you in a little bit, and he did. He came right back and for the interview, so that was really cool to see. So they are feeling good, which is a good sign.
Yeah, and as for Nightmare, I think they're definitely still, like, getting their roster together, and they look strong out there. I think they have a great chance today. Excited to see them in the Day 3 action. But our other match we're going to talk about in this highlight is Fly versus Sentinels. And we talked about this is the redemption of what happened on Day 1 match. And to me, buddy, you know, like you go and see a band and they're playing some new songs and you're like, come on, play the classics. Like, it's like, that's how it felt with Sentinels. They were doing some new stuff Day 1 and you're like, get the right amazing on the Iron Man. Let's see Cap on Crimzo. It felt like we returned to old form.
Yeah, Crimzo stepped up, Rise stepped up, but also Mirror came in instead of Kurova, which is a huge change, right? In running that backline, more of a consistent backbone backline, right? Running that Invis and looking really solid doing it. But yeah, the entire team just kind of woke up. We talked to Ryan in the interview, and he essentially said, you know, we just needed to change our ban phase. Our ban phase was not good Day 1, and we really paid the price for it. We figured out what we wanted to do, and now we're going to be clean. And you know what? They looked really clean today or yesterday, for sure.
Yeah, I got to say, I mean, Kurova, what a talented player. But one thing with Mirror is it kind of makes the bans more confusing for the opponent. And if they're able to interchange these two studs, that is going to be absolutely massive for them. Because then you have, all right, do you ban the Atom? Do you go this approach? And it doesn't make it as clear-cut, your battle plan against Sentinels. FlyQuest, though, let's talk about him. For me, it's kind of the same as Day 1. Talent all over. They're all doing something well, but it just hasn't come together as one, in my opinion.
Yeah, truth be told, I want them to perform.
It's
I like
the
a lot of
match,
players.
please, please. I want to watch. I just want to watch them fight and battle it out so we can start to be free VOD movies. Might just skip it. No, I really want to watch it though. We'll see.
All right, so that's the 2 matches from the early slate. We have 3 other ones that you might have missed from Day 2, but that's all for us for now. We'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, so you heard about the couple of matches in Day 2 to start us off, but if you missed Day 2, we have 3 more matches that were absolute heat, and we start off with TSM and Loon X. Now, TSM struggled a little bit in Day 1 to find their footing. Loon X did look strong, but for me, it really all came back together, and you saw that teamwork come
Yo,
together.
thank you so much for the follow. How you doing?
Lost 1 game.
The Mighty Oz.
Shib, what'd you see?
Yeah, Lunex looked consistently strong, and I think TSM struggled on Dom, but then they just found their footing with this new triple composition. They started running this more brawly.
Yeah, currently I'm watching MRI, trying to figure out our playbook, and see what these pro players are doing. But also, they're making a lot of mistakes, and they're not. I don't know. I feel like they're kind of lazy and not playing correctly.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of triple Vanguard, and I think it was cool that back in the Dev Vision they showed actually how well triple Vanguard works at the highest level. But you have to have an anchored duelist. A little bit in SSG, we saw that whenever you had Nectar as the Star Lord, and in this case, and today in day 2, Bedtime Story had to do a lot of the heavy lifting there. And that's because Gale, who's an amazing player, was on the Gulk. All right, was playing the Hulk, and is definitely gonna give that team.
Wait, was Gale actually on Hulk? Wait, what?
That's just part of their flexibility.
What?
For, you know, one of the team packages that they want.
Gale on Hulk?
LunX,
No, that's
they've
crazy.
definitely proven themselves as a team that's gonna be tough to beat.
Sure.
I'm not saying that you can't do it. I just feel like he's better in different like areas where aim is like a little bit more required and stuff. No way.
So the team stayed consistent, but again, TSM, the compositional change that they made, I don't think that LunX could find a solution. So they're definitely gonna have to look into that in the future.
Year 2, if there's anything we've learned, is that the MRC teams are not going to be easy beats. LunX proved that, and we're going to continue to head into that with Swamp Gaming versus Cafe Rose, who obviously had the upset of the tournament, at least expectation-wise, to get FlyQuest a quick 2-0 in day 1. Now playing what was now, I would deem some people's America's favorite, right? Swamp Gaming, what they've shown, and the number one thing I've seen from this team is that they have so many ways to beat you, right? It's not just from one role or player. I'm personally, if I had them circled on my calendar or schedule, this is a team you have to do a lot of prep for.
Yeah, it was awesome hearing Coach Fox essentially break down how they discuss their ban strategies per team, and then also how they're not afraid to switch in things like Days out and bring in a Madian who played incredible there as a duelist swap, and being able to do that with different priorities of heroes that they play is really powerful. It's tough for teams to scrim against, which is what he was mentioning.
Yo, I'm going to be honest, actually. If you look at that also with Sentinels, is this the year we see more subs come to play, right? It doesn't mean like a player's bad. It's like, okay, this is just a different flexible package we can play. The more heroes you bring into the game, it's going to be kind of more common that you have these specialists in different, team comps that you want to run. And I think that's going to be honestly super interesting on both a viewer and caster, position for that. But yeah, man, the backline for Swamp Gaming, they look tough to beat, but it was not an easy win for them at all. I mean, you may have looked at that game and thought it was going to be a quick one, but Swamp Gaming,
all right, gonna head out now and get some rest. Hopefully VODs are good and fun. All right, I'll see you later, Ray. Thank you for hopping by.
Like you're saying with the MRC teams, we kind of assumed that they were going to struggle a bit up at this elo, but they have nothing to lose and they're proving it. They look dominant out there, and they're not afraid to step up in these moments, taking things like domination in map 3 off the rip and look super confident. And there was a point where I was like, okay, this team might be able to pull this home, but just unable to do so. Swamp Gaming
all right,
locked in.
this is taking way too long. I don't have enough time to watch for the last match, sadly, but let's go and do some VOD reviews. I feel like our time might be a little more productive if we go and do some VOD reviews, and then let me pause this real quick. Close this. All right, VOD reviews. We're gonna look at some VOD reviews before ending off the day, because I definitely can't stream for too long. And all right, so let's see who posted like most recently, and we'll go from there. All right, perfect. I have a few of them. I don't know if Sterling is still here. It was worse that they showed a 5-minute timer and it was a lie. Yeah, that's why I stopped watching. I was like, this is gonna take too long, and because the timer was wrong, sadly we're just not gonna watch it. So, all right, let's start with yours, Drodo. We'll start with your VOD review, and we'll just go down the list from there. Let's go into go. All right. And let's see, gold 3, boy Gary, 3 stack. What is it? Okay, support. Okay. Cloak and Dagger, Cardboard, Pila. Alright, so this in all. Squirrel was a problem. I was struggling. Our Interlist friend. I definitely messed up a few times, dealing damage when I needed to be healing, and vice versa. I also forgot to apply ability buffering, which could help some of my face. Okay, perfect. All right, let's go and look at this VOD. Let me also put back the music. It was a little louder than I thought. Turn that down. There you go. Okay. Does it not show bans? Oh, is there not bans? Interesting. That's fine. Let's make sure we're respecting the right person. Okay, attacking first. Okay, let's first identify your comp and their comp, right? So you have a Panther, a Magic, which is going to be really hard for you to get value on Cloak. And already identifying this, what do you think you should be doing throughout most of the game in terms of your ability usage, right? Do you plan on using Bubble for yourself so you can make more aggressive plays? You're going to be thinking about these things because you're like, okay, because we're not playing really grouped up, I shouldn't need to feel like I should go and bubble up my teammates, right? Because they're going to be super staggered. So your bubble value is already depreciated. The same thing with the healing wall. The healing wall is not going to be really useful to you because of the team comp that you're playing. They're not grouped. So there's no point using these abilities. And then you should be already strategizing what type of playstyle you're going to have throughout the game, right? So you have a really staggered comp. Staggered dive comp, right? Oh, what was your Thor doing? But see how you're playing really passive with how your team is playing, right? See your entire team really forward, really far in. You should be going the same route as what your tank is going, right? Which is going in these staggered positions. You want to go left or you want to go hard right. This is kind of hard because you ideally want to be up here, right? And as you're getting closer up to the angle and because you're being walked up with your Angela, you're able to go up here. If they see you and start applying pressure, then you use Bubble for yourself, right? You're not using Bubble for the team because they don't need it. And then you can use your blind. Your blind is going to be the key of winning this game, by the way. Yeah, would have been cardboard to rank up the gold. I think we would play around cover, so Bubble is safe mostly for team. Yeah. So the problem of thinking it that way is because Bubble is generally best when healing someone that's like about to be really low and they want to do a play, right? But if you're the person and your team is not there with you, the only person that you can do a play with is yourself. You're the only one that can make these plays. So you're gonna see these two, right? As we continue the match, luckily you're able to walk up this time, right? They're in. They're in. Good bubble, but now you should be using the bubble. It doesn't make sense for you getting out of this bubble. You would go in this bubble. This guy's full HP. This guy is enough HP for you to like live, and then you use your blind, right? This is where you want to be aggressive. Yes, you will get hit by squirrel shots, but because you are already aggressive in your cloak form, if anything gets a little too like scary, you have fade instantly. You can instantly go into fade because you're already swapped, right? So I want you to play a little more aggro and think about how am I going to play through the game already through the team comp, right? This takes a little bit of experience. Does the blind have damage boost too? So blind, all it does is it makes people purple, right? And purple means vulnerable. They're vulnerable and they take 20% more damage. So in a way, you can think of, okay, now because their health is decreasing faster, it's technically a damage boost. But it's just the fact that they're vulnerable. They take more damage from anyone. Just command that both supports died. So I just want to push on that. Okay. Luckily you were able to get first point. They swap up very fast this match? Yeah. Yeah, because you have a mag now. And a little risky. But yeah, see here. So you go up. because you're kind of with your front line and you're doing a lot of pressure and damage, whenever you go in cloak form, I generally just use bubble. And just to follow up, I know that you don't see this group and you don't expect them at all. So I guess this play is okay. This is kind of your magic fall from dying from the Iron Man, but now you're using bubble for your team, which doesn't make sense. And see how much bubble value? Say that this did hit the mag. Okay, let's just say that it did. It doesn't bring too much value for your team. Why? It's because you're in a position where the cart doesn't give you the reason for this guy to make a play. And this guy doesn't push past because he doesn't need to, right? He just needs to hold. So your entire job is to make sure that he's healthy and just play around the corner, but never to the point where you have to use bubble. Your bubble should be for you or for the mag to make the play, right? So now you're going to be on cooldown, on the bubble cooldown. And then when mag wants to make a play, or when you want to make a play, or you need the bubble, you can't because you already used it for something that's pointless. And now see how your wall didn't get any value? So that it did hit these people. They're already in cover. There is no rush to get more healing. So your ability cycle is a bit off. I really like the Jeff pick, especially since he's able to beam those people. This is crazy aggro. But see, okay, any other elo you would die, right? But because you're not, say that you're taking these positions, the only time you want to bring yourself this vulnerable, like put yourself in these vulnerable positions, is if you have blind. What does blind do? Make it to where they can't really see you, and you do more damage. So now the amount of pressure that is directed onto you is a lot less, right? So whenever you go in cloak, just keep in mind, do I have bubble to save myself while I'm in this? And do I have blinds to use, right? Your blind is the way to give you the most amount of value while you're taking these off angles.
My time to shine. My time to shine. You stop them in their tracks.
Does blind stack with thing jump? That's a good question, and I'm not too sure. I don't think so when someone's purple. I don't know, because I don't think anti stacks either. I think whoever just has the more bigger anti effects. So say that you like anti with Gambit, which is around like 20%, but then you anti with what's this name? Blade, it's only gonna be 40%, right? And I don't think it goes higher. I don't think it adds up to 60. And I think the same thing is with vulnerable. I don't think it stacks up. But we definitely have to test that. I'm not too sure. Very much meant to fade. Timing there, unfortunately. Skora has a lot of good ults in the choke points. Yeah, she does. What is happening? Where's this guy going? Oh. No. So, alright. Learning when to ult and why is a good time to ult. So, whenever your team gets in these, what I like to call defender's choke, these are typically areas where it's really, really difficult to go past because they have a corner and they're able to hold this for as long as possible, especially since they have a group. And the best way to get through these is by either an ultimate, a pick, or flipping the map, routing, right? So knowing this, even if this group didn't ult, or seeing that the group passes the defender's choke, you want to be abusing this and being like, okay, we're going in and we're going in deep. We want to get past this choke because it's such a hard choke to get through, right? So yes, we do want to talk about, okay, it's probably best to ult during this time because your team is making a play, but think of the reason of, okay, I need to ult when the cart and these defenders that choke, right? You always want to be thinking about where the cart is, because they're aggressing and pushing past it, you can punish them by ulting past them, right? So next time I want you to be thinking about that during your games.
My time to shine.
What was that?
Us against the world. This is real firepower.
My time to shine. Hold still. I'm trying to help.
Let's look back at that again.
I'll get you next time.
Welcome to the dark.
Yikes. Okay. So whenever you're going against Squirgle ult, just always go into high ground, right? Squirgle ult literally does nothing when you go into high ground. But let's also look at how can you position high ground even earlier, right? Because you should be positioning earlier. Which is right here. This is perfect, right? As soon as you have control of the choke, you want to be abusing angles, right? You want to be using it to where you're boosting yourself up, and now you have control of this angle because no one's contesting it, and this allows you to have a lot more play around the cart, right? So during neutral space of the cart, this is where you want to be taking angles, right? So as soon as this choke gets taken and overcome by your tank, take these off angles, and typically elevated off angles, right?
My time to shine. I'll get you next time. The light always comes back. Please, we're hurt. Better stop that vehicle. My time to shine. I'll get you next time. Only 60 seconds left. My time to shine. You owe me one. Better stop that vehicle. There's still a chance to stop them. My time to shine. They hit a checkpoint. Now might be the time.
Sending that Cloak would have been like that rocket amp? Yeah, exactly. Fine. Yeah, I just think it's the same thing. You're not utilizing your blinds and your cooldowns efficiently, right? You're kind of missing on all your abilities, and I want you to work more on your mechanics and working through your cooldown cycle before working on like anything else to macro. When it comes to macro, I always talk about like where the card is positioned and what choke points are concurrently held and when you need to use them, right? Currently, that's not too much of a problem for your team, but it's really about how you're using your abilities, right? See how this was completely pointless, right? This is not a moment of time where your team is clashing into the other team, and there's no reason to use these abilities because you don't have to apply pressure yet. One, card is super far back, and two, your team is not at the choke point to commit for any fight. So now, yeah, not even now. But now, right? See how your team is committing some pressure? This is where you would bubble your team, or maybe not even bubble, but like try to push forward and try to use your blind at this choke. You need to get to this part of the map as soon as possible with your team, okay? See, instead you're using a bubble for a pointless reason, right? Bubble is typically not seen as a way for your team to push in and just stay in it. You don't want them to do that. You want to use your blinds to create pressure. Bubble is not pressure. It allows you to create, like, make plays so you can, yourself can make pressure. Does that make sense? And this is a round that goes through this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not typically too worried about everything that's happening yet, except for this ult. I think this ult was not necessary because you're already past this choke. But yeah. I'm not too worried about anything here. Big dunk. See how you're getting so much more value out of your bubble and your wall is because people are more grouped up because this is a full team fight. I like this, and you're using your ability cooldown cycle correct, right? I think the bubble is a little bit early though, but you're definitely using your wall, pairing it with bubble. See how you're using your cooldowns together and you're gaining value and hitting everything. When you put yourself in a position where you're able to hit everything, and have decent cooldown cycles, you're doing everything correctly here, right? You're getting the most value out of your character. No, okay, you definitely did not have to go in the battle. This is a lost fight because of Rocket Amp just lasts longer and their team is able to survive. But this is a little unfortunate. Let's go on this last team fight though. I think you already understand like your mistake on, you know, why that ult wasn't that good, why it kind of cost you the round there, or like the fight. This is a little risky. Let me see your routing. So you see your team going on right side while you're going to main. I really like you going on height, especially since they have current. Yep, get the nest. This is okay. Yeah, again, when you're going in cloak and when you're really close to the enemies like this, always bubble yourself. I know that you're in a position where you're not gonna die yet, but because you're in cloak and you make yourself super vulnerable, either you go against a 1v1 and you blind them, or you use a bubble. Luckily, you're safe enough for your team to follow up. I just didn't see your team to justify that play. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah. It seems like your attack is fine. Work on your cooldown cycle. Your biggest issue is probably your cooldown cycle and making sure you're using it for the correct purpose, right? Or reason. Let's go on this side because I think you said you struggled a lot more on defense. Attack is not too bad, so I'm not too worried about that. I played tank pretty much all night before this, so definitely did not have Cloak and Dagger cycled in mind. Yeah, or cooldown cycled in mind. I went after the nest so Jeff could safely. Yeah, that was a good idea, and it worked out. Using bubble on him would have been like fine too, just to secure the play. So this is okay. Notice that you're playing super far back and your team is playing super far forward, right? This is really, really dangerous as Cloak and Dagger because you're a projectile character, right? The time it takes for your heals to reach them takes a bit longer, right? So using bubbles because you know that you're in a position that you can't get touched is fine when you throw it in front. This is where it's okay. Mainly because of your primary taking so long to get there, it's actually safer just to use the bubble to give them a little like safety net, right?
Everybody needs a hand sometimes.
Unless you close the distance and then you don't have to think of this.
I'll get you next time.
What was the bubble on yourself for? Yeah, you're kind of spamming abilities where it doesn't make sense. So, okay. Let's go back to you. right?
I'll get you next.
So this is where you see your Penny gets blinded and they're causing a lot of pressure. You are currently LOSing yourself from the Penny, and this is why I like playing right side a little bit more than left side, is because typically whenever you play tank or anything, you would always kite back this way. When you kite back this way, you have this stupid like symbiote thing that's just in the way. So always kite back on the right. And knowing this as a tank player, right, you generally, as a support, want to be playing more on the right-ish side of this, right? And now, because you're going against some other people, you also want to be playing around this cover, so you're able to see all your tank and everyone without getting spotted, because they have to look through your tanks, right? When you go on left side, there you go. You can be spotted by multiple people while your tanks are backing up. So you're able to technically see more if this ghoul like was down. You can see more, but you're more risk of danger. So ideally on support, I want you to be mainly playing on the right side. Okay. And now you could be easily seeing, oh, now I need a bubble for my Penny. Oh, I have my wall. If I wanted to play closer, I can play close to this right. Put bubble on myself and then use blind because I'm making an aggressive play. And then everything starts like falling together when you play on right side. When you play on left side, you're limited to more options as a projectile character, okay? And this applies to every projectile character. In the moment, I was really unhappy with my positioning, but struggled to figure out a better one. Yeah, that's why you want to use it on the right side. You're bubbling the enemy team.
My time to shine. Help get that vehicle to its destination. My time to shine. Keep going. It's party time! My time to shine.
Okay, let me go back. I thought we were in position to fight them on point where I bubble the enemy tanks. Yeah, that was so. Again, looking at your comp, right? You have a lot more staggered comp, and typically you want to look at your DPS to figure out whether you guys are playing together or not, right? And your one main tank. Those are the tanks that you want to be looking at. And because you're in a situation where you don't have a strong frontline tank, typically you want to use bubble on yourself. So say that I'm going to be defending this corner, right? Your goal in mind is before they get to this choke, right? I would use my bubble here in frontline a little bit to use my blind around the corner and then back up. This allows your Penny to have more options to act like a frontline tank because she does so much more damage. They're all blinded and they can't see. And this allows your team to gain space because you decided to be proactive with your bubble to make sure you're alive. Most importantly, you're alive and you're able to do significantly like amount of pressure, right? So here, see how your Penny is taking a lot of damage? If you were to peek this out too, because they have a turret, luckily they're not looking at you, you would take a lot of damage as well. So if you prepare yourself to use the bubble and then use a blind, see how this just automatically sets you up to get like a 5-man blind because of your positioning? You shouldn't be able to do this. Nice. But see how you're overcommitting to this play and you're playing in that too long. You're probably dead here. Luckily you're not. That blind is okay. But see, again, you're using your bubbles for people that don't need it. She doesn't need it. Why? She doesn't have any pressure that's on her. The people that have pressure is Salak. You're not able to get to her, and she needs healing, right? So using a bubble for her. Or these chokes, like your Panther is about to take a lot of damage, maybe put a bubble there. Or maybe push up and use make a play with your bubble and then use your blind, right? You're doing it on players that don't necessarily need it at the moment of time, right? And you're doing it on staggered players. In general, like you don't want to be in the situation of bubbling any of these players, right? But because these players are bad, it's not too bad to bubble them. Nice close. Nice blind. Jeff dies, you get it back. Yeah, bubble. No. Okay. Why is this all bad? Why is this all bad? Remember? Defender Sinker? This is really hard to get through. Why? Ramp. Choke. Unless they're smart and they take height, this is really hard to go through, or they go around, right? But you're in low elo and most people are not going to do that. Holding this is pretty easy, right? And you want to use your ultimate ability when what? When the team is trying to make the play to pass the cart. With either ultimate ability or multiple abilities, or anyone just... If you see them pass the cart, then you punish them for this play. This is a moment where everyone on their team, you can see it from here, that they're repositioning, right? You want to back up and give enough time and room for your team to follow up with this play, right? Or just hold it. You already did your job here as a support. So now you're kind of overcommitting for no reason. You could have died here. So your team groups up. This is a really bad fight for your team. If anything, you shouldn't be fighting at all. And be like, hey, let's just play behind cart and just play passive. Now, see that you're not going in at all with your Cloak and Dagger ult. Luckily, your Panther was able to force out a really bad Cloak ult here. But now their ult is going to last longer. So your chances of winning this fight is already like 40-60. Your ult's already over. Good repositioning. Nope, definitely should have stayed. You stay up here and use your bubble. Again, your positioning and your timing and your like cooldown cycle is really off. Yo, Wendigo, how you doing? Also, because Jeff died, I wanted to save the choke point fight for when our team was back. Yes, but even when your team is back, they don't need to fight this space. The space is already given to them by this choke, right? You want to win the fight and not win. You don't have to win this space. Not yet. Luckily, you guys were able to win because the only reason why you guys won was because your BP was goated and forced out their Cloak ult. So they played really incorrectly. But if they played correctly, they would have been able to just fade out the Panther ult, wait up a little bit, and then ult past this. And then you're screwed. You're absolutely like, your ult was to waste. The only reason why your ult wasn't to waste is because of your BP. Let's go. It's fine. This is really a like scary positioning because you have the entire team staring at you with no front line. Yeah. No, bubble yourself, bubble yourself. See again, like see how you're always the person that needs a bubble more than your team? Your team doesn't really need these bubbles. And then see how to like how useful that like ult would have been. It would have been either for the Cloak ult that would have went in here or for these type of players. That's crazy that I lagged with full with White Fox and still had the most healing in the match. Damn. No, Wi-Fi is really good. She feels really good this season now. She's still, I don't know. She might be like slowly creeping up to broken. Like might be a little too strong. Okay, what do you do wrong here? So you're in this choke. You don't have bubble yet. Oh, never mind, you do.
I'll get you next time.
I like this bubble, but you. Okay, now you're playing bubble. Or are you blinding?
My time to shine.
Alright, so here's the problem. You're blinding their backline, and you're forcing them to push up more. This should tell you that, hey, I'm going to force them to push up more, and now they're going to look into this area. This is really, like, in-depth, right? But your blinds act as a way to, like, herd the sheep, right? They're all going to group up even closer because you blinded the backline, and their backline is going to get closer to the group, right? And now because you cut off this left angle, you have an option to either push up and apply pressure from here, or just back up and play around these boxes on this left side. You can't cross this right side because you already blinded the left. And that's why you died. It's also kind of rough that you have a Penny just walking forward, so I don't think you could have won this fight, to be honest. Especially with the comp and with the ultimates they use. 18,000 healing and I like out twice. And we still won? Oh, that's crazy. These placement games did be dirty and I haven't been playing, so I'm climbing out of silver on PS4. Ooh, that's rough.
Behold the god of thunder!
My time to shine.
I got what you need.
This is okay. I'm really trying to pay attention to your cooldown cycle because it seems like that is the biggest problem.
Us against the world.
Use that ult for Pennial.
My time to shine.
I'll allow it. It's okay. Typically, you can just go on height in order to avoid Penny, and then if your team needs it, you'll have bubble for them. Especially since the battle is already won. So. I think you need to start abusing a little more elevation when you're taking defense, right? You want to be playing a little more elevated. I guess this spot is kind of hard, but note that you're gonna take significantly more splash damage when you're in this zone. So just use bubble on yourself. And then you're over aggressing and pushing past the cart. You've been doing this repeatedly without having your team follow up with you, right? And if you're ever going to do this, you need to have bubble and stay in cloak, right? And because you're just tickling them, there's no point of doing this. You want to be ready for your blind and your fade to instantly get out. Is there a line? There is not a line currently. But I do have it to where if you want a free VOD submission, right? You would go into my VOD submissions channel within the Discord, and I'll happily give you a free VOD review. This is risky because you didn't blind their team, and you still have bubble to make this play. Now you're making it really risky. You can get bursted out. Luckily you didn't die, but you should be dying for these plays. And then you're using bubble for them and not yourself. They don't need bubble. They're taking cover and they're able to get out. Can you use channel points to go next? Honestly, yes. Yes. Just redeem the channel points and type in your VOD submissions if you want to like skip the line.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Yeah, I don't always blue screen, but sometimes I do, and it's frustrating. Yeah, no, that's really frustrating, and I hate it when that happens.
Lights out. Welcome to the Dark Force dimension.
Okay. So, why do you get to lose this corner? Let's look back. Because it's really the corner that's, like, really important. I just need to look this more top down because you're playing too, like, aggressive for me to sum up where your team is playing. You're always playing in front of your team. Yeah, your Penny is just dying. You guys are making pressure in space. They have ultimates. You guys don't have any ultimates. And that's why you lost the corner. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, it's exactly what I thought. Because you're using your abilities and your pressure when your team is not there, you doing all of this is pointless. They didn't even walk back from your place or take any damage, right? And that's because, one, your ability cycle is a little off. You're not using bubbles to widen the angle and then get bigger blinds. You're also not doing this at red times and coordinating enough, especially within a 3 stack, right? That's like half of the team of people that you communicate with, right? So just, you need to play a little more safer, right? And then during the times when you want to play aggro, you want to use bubble and then use blind on the team, right? On attack, I want you also to be focusing on cooldown cycles, and you're using the bubbles on wrong people every single time, right? You don't use bubble for your Angela. You don't use bubble for your Psylocke. You don't use bubble for your, these players, right? The only person you can arguably use bubble is for Penny. Why Penny? Is because she doesn't have the mobility to escape, right? But characters that have mobility to escape, you don't generally want to use. It's like bubbling, it's like bubbling a Psylocke on cooldown, right? You don't want to do that because she doesn't need it. She has her dashes to get out. She has her invis to get out. She has options to get out. If this player decides to screw up, then it's their fault and not yours. And the only times that you do want to bubble these mobility characters is say that they were pressuring and taking a 1v1 and you want to guarantee their advantage. You're not doing it to save them. You're doing it to guarantee a play in space that you want to create. So say that you had a Psylocke and they had a Psylocke, you would put bubble here and be like, hey Psylocke, I want you to go over here. She dashes and then you bubble, and then she has a huge advantage over the enemy Psylocke, right? That's the only time I want you to be bubbling these players. Any other time, don't bubble them because you're not going to get as much value than yourself, because when you bubble yourself, one, you're keeping yourself alive, and two, you're able to make plays off of those bubbles. So I want you to be thinking about that a lot more. And then here you just lose because of ult, right? You guys were definitely guaranteed to lose that point. It's not really the Squirrel Girl, it's really your team's fault for not playing Corey enough, and you guys are not using abilities right. Also, another thing against Squirrel Girl, especially since you don't have shield tanks, to counter the Squirrel Girl or any projectile character that requires splash damage, so Penny, like, you know, like Penny Mines, Squirrel Girl, Iron Man, is elevation. Well, Iron Man is a little interesting because he's a flyer, so it doesn't hurt him too much. But elevation. Why elevation is really important? I actually learned this more in Deadlock. But when characters have to aim upwards and arc it to a height, it is way harder to do that because you have to aim and predict the arc, right? When it's in lower ground, you can just aim at the floor and it kind of rolls to you, and you don't really have to think about this. So generally, to avoid taking damage from these Squirrel Girl players or Punishers, see how he's required to hit and he can hit the floor and you, is by playing height. See, playing up here, well, now they have to land a perfect shot in order to hit you. If they do it too low, it's gonna hit nothing, right?
Twas but a scratch.
Down to 30 seconds.
I felt like she spent the entire match going down main. Part of the reason why I was being aggro. I guess so, but it doesn't justify like why you should be aggro as a Cloak and Dagger at all, because yes, you're trying to follow up there and make a play, right? But you don't have the mobility like she does to escape, right? All you have is a bubble and a fade, and it doesn't really take you that far. So you want to be thinking more on yourself than with the Salak, unless you have more people to coordinate with. I definitely didn't use height nearly as much as I normally would or should have. Yeah. Why am I spectating Thor? There you go. Let me go back a little. This is better though. This is better. Can't get touched. Nice blind. Careful here. Tipping mines. Okay. This is fine. I honestly like this bubble, but I want you to be playing in it. Why do I want you to be playing in it? It's exactly this. Like, you're kind of in a position where you're in a lot of danger, and you have to play and hide behind your tank. And hopefully your Invis is able to hit you too, because you're kind of lining yourself. Luckily you have Fade. But this is, see how your cooldown cycle is fine now? Use Bubble, use Blind, and then go to Cloak and do damage. This is exactly how I want your cooldown cycle to look like every single fight, okay? Now you need to get out. But like, you kind of use Fade a little like too aggressively. So after using Fade, you gotta back out and play passive until you can do this cooldown cycle again. Bubble him. Okay, that's fine. Now, see, the moment you do this cooldown cycle wrong, you just get in these really rough situation. I need you to have some sort of playbook, right? Some sort of like something to keep in mind where, okay, all my abilities are down, I need to play passive, I need to play safe, and I need to see that, right? So when everything's down, I want you to go back and play passive, have your bubble when it's needed. Oh, I have bubble, I have blind. Okay, I'm gonna bubble up front and play aggressive and use blind. And by the time everything runs away, I still have my Fade to get out. Okay, everything's on cooldown. I'm just gonna get out because I don't need to use Fade, and then repeat the cycle over and over. You're doing this when your abilities are all like mixed up, right? You're not doing your ability cycle right. See, you're pushing up. This doesn't make sense. None of your ability cycles tells you that you should be pushing up. So that is the main thing you gotta work on. Luckily you were able to win. Let's get to the second fight. My team comp looks gross right now. Tankful, Fox, Jeff, Cloak, Scarlet, and Elsa. Scarlet and Elsa. That's funny. I've been seeing a lot more Scarlet players. Almost have ult. Now you have ult. Nice. No.
Executioner!
So, alright, here's a tip about Cloak. Whenever you use ult, you want to be going directly... You gotta be a little careful because they have a Punisher and he can one-shot you. But you want to be abusing the cart elevation to make it harder for them to hit you and go further and further into their backline. The reason why going deep in their backline is so helpful is because now look, as you ult into them, look at where they're positioning. They're positioning back here around the corner and they're playing back. When they need to back up and respect you guys, then you can use blind. And if anything gets a little shaky, you have your Fade to get out too.
Judge, jury, executioner!
So typically you want to dash forward, dash one more time. And this is where you make the call whether you need to bash back to your team or push even further forward, right? The reason why is because now you just made this as a sustain ult and not a proactive gaining space ult. Whenever you use ult, you want to be gaining space. And this is the space you need to take because this is a hard defender's anchor. You want to take over the defender's anchor to not worry about it later. So like typically here, I would see you ult first, which you went like closer to the side, and then you ult forward. And this is your call of being like, okay, I need to go back now because I see too much like burst damage, or I need to go deeper further in and gain more value out of my ult, right? But I need you to at least be going into these like defender hard anchor chokes when you're doing these plays. This is fine though. Really, really good blind. A little risky here, but you have it.
Behold the god of thunder!
Oh.
Behold the
Sure, in this
god
here.
Behold the god of thunder!
Aw, she thought that you were going to cloak. It's fine. But see, now you guys have to deal with Defender's Anchor, and this feels miserable. This is hard to get through, and that's because you ulted so passively. You don't want to be ulting so passive. I've been mag for a long time, so I'm a bit paranoid about being countered in Cloakle. Well, look at their comp. They don't really have much to deal with the Cloakle unless they're coordinated, right? The only one that I will say, because they use Rocket and Punny, you do have to get out, right? But you need to get at least within the choke. Within the choke. And you don't have to worry as much because you have your tank's shields. You have tank shields to be helping you out. Especially at the choke corner, right? But yeah, that's why you get lost. It's because your ult was way too passive and you weren't able to get past Defender's Anchor. Let's see where you set up here. Jeez. This might be like the only VOD tonight because I do have to go, like, I do have to wake up really early tomorrow. So I guess I'll make it up. Early stream tomorrow. Well, not early, but like definitely earlier than this time. And I'm going to continue with the VOD reviews. But definitely keep everything posted within VOD submissions. And I'll continue the free VOD submissions over to tomorrow on Monday. Because I have like stuff to do early in the morning. My game is only 8 minutes. It's pretty quick. Okay. I'll definitely do one more though. Only one more. Only because I have to wake up really early. I don't like your positioning. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about positioning. Right. So let's look up here. Don't worry, Kaya. I got you. So you're playing already knowing that you're a projectile character. It's gonna take forever for everything to get up to your front line, and this is why people die so fast. Is because you are deciding to play super far back as projectile. I want you to be playing up closer, whether it's up here when you start the round, even up here when you start the game. This helps you identify, okay, I'm playing against this comp, I'm going to play a little back, but not too far. Your Invis is playing in a good spot. This is a good Invis spot because she is also projectile, but she's able to give heals immediately. Your heals is taking like 30 seconds. Well, not 30, like way longer. Like, it's taking forever, right? It takes like 2 seconds for them to get healed. And now your healing wall doesn't give us much, or doesn't go as far. And now this is pretty much just Invis solo healing. So you need to play a little more forward. And because these people are getting lined and beamed by this Punisher, you have Bubble to combat this, right? Against my main supporter, can you tell from my positioning? Yeah, definitely. Even as Rocket though, he's a projectile character. You want to be playing a little bit more closer. And then once they hit a certain checkpoint, like I would say here, or even up to here, this is where you would go back to bunker. Then it's fine to play a little more passive and play back here, right? But you're playing bunker when they're already, like, didn't even made it to first checkpoint, right? So now, when their team is collapsing into the first checkpoint, then you can go and back up even further to the bunker. See, playing right side sets you up in better positions. Now that people are going to this side, you can right-click a bubble and put it down to this crate. Because you position yourself in a way where it's easy to land this shot. Now you have to worry about your team and you guys die.
Help get that vehicle to its destination. Only 60 seconds left.
Yeah.
30 seconds. The light always comes back. You're halfway there. Keep going.
Why did you guys die here? I think you just rush this, no? I like this high ground, you're into this here. You're just dropping. You're dropping for no reason. You don't have the mobility to escape this. Like, you gotta insta-fade now because of your mistake. I like the high ground because of the characters are playing, right? They're playing Punny, they're playing Squirrel Girl, they're playing Thor. They all have to invest some type of cooldown in order to do any pressure onto you, right? And then you can easily drop down and escape back to your team, but you can't do it from where the team sees you dropping down. You gotta make it more hidden and be like, okay, the team can't see me from around this corner, now I'm gonna drop, right? Or I'm just gonna drop really passively back here, right? You're just playing too aggressive in these positions. You're playing way too aggressive in general. And why you're playing aggressive is, well, okay, the thing that makes you play super aggressive is because you're looking at your comp, and this is like a dive-ish comp. They're super staggered. This is why I don't like playing Cloak in general in these type of comps. It's because it's super hard to gain value off of your healing, unless you're playing super aggro. But you can't really play super aggro against this comp, right?
30 seconds. Always comes back.
I think this death causes you to lose the game too. Because 2 of you guys died, now you just made it back. Now you're throwing a random bubble.
The final 10 seconds.
Yeah, you gotta look down in order to hit that. Which is weird. Honestly, I don't think you should. Like, you shouldn't have to look down. Yeah. Yeah. Your main issues throughout this entire game is cooldown cycle, making sure you use bubble, and then you can start being aggressive. So, okay, first thing you gotta identify is your team comp. Is my team value, like, is it worth bubbling my team or is it not? And typically how you know is how staggered are my teams and how much mobility do they have. They have a lot of mobility, okay, I probably don't need to bubble them. They don't have a lot of mobility, okay, they need the bubble in order to compensate what they don't have, which is mobility, right? And because we're in stagger, I'm going to use bubble myself to help apply pressure, not use the bubble on them and rely on their pressure, right? Because the bubble pretty much acts like is pointless, right? So definitely think about your cooldown cycle with the team that you're currently playing with, and then ultimates. Your ultimates was really bad. You're doing it like not past the defender's choke. You need to be more aggressive and pushing at least past these chokes and try and get to their backline so you can blind them all, right? And then last tip, whenever you're going against Splash, and whenever you're going against Squirrel Girl, Punisher turn or anything, high ground is the key, right? You want to play height, and you want to avoid all that splash damage. Is there any other questions do you have for this VOD? That pretty much sums up everything. Just, I want you to mainly focus on your cooldown cycle, because it was really floppy and it was really bad. I guess a little bit on positioning too, but yeah, those are your 2 main focuses. Any other questions? And while you like ask some questions, I'm definitely gonna set up for the next VOD review. But thank you so much for the VOD submission, and I hope that helps. Let me just wanted you to watch my Mad game, but tip for this would be good too. Rank Plat 2. Alright. Alright. And this is gonna be the last one I'm gonna do tonight, only because I'm really tired and I have to wake up early, sadly. Alright. But tomorrow, we're going to continue with the VOD reviews. Damn, 2-0. Nice. MVP. Let's go. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot. I can do this now.
To the bottom of the ocean, you are under my protection. Insignificant gnats.
There you go. This is pretty good so far. Everything that I see, you're taking cover. You're applying pressure in their backline. You're playing safe. Oh, okay, really poor. So whenever you're using this ability, this has a longer projectile time, and you want to be mainly hitting, if you can, take elevation so it's easy to hit the backline, or just hit the tank fully, right? Your goal is just to gain ult charge from this. Yep, now you're hitting tanks. See how you're consistently hitting them? It's a lot easier, and you're applying a lot of pressure on them. So, okay, now another thing is whenever you see them extremely low, especially since you're low in ammo, this is where you want to be shielding or bubbling instead of doing damage. The reason why is because your damage becomes insignificant, and it's not enough to fully kill them out because supports should be looking at them to heal them. So if you use your bubble or shield, you could have probably killed the Penny. Whoa, you guys killed him? No, look at your team. You had bubbles to save your team during this ult. Nice. Nice. Nice shots. Yeah. Yeah. You're hitting every shot. I appreciate it. Look at I got this one. I definitely wasn't on my A game. High ground I know, but I clearly did not take advantage. Those are definitely weak points that I'll work on. Also I probably way. I'll try to use them more often. Of course. I'm gonna keep this message and just like message it within my Discord so I can remember. And then I'll post your tips within the VOD review submissions.
Your team's capture progress is past the halfway point.
You shall not be harmed. Insignificant gnats. Kinetic blade. You shall not be harmed.
They've almost got it. Watch me soar. Disappear.
Yeah, there's not really much to be said here. They're playing pretty well. Particularly since your team is dominating. The only thing I would say differently is probably taking space by means of like using your shield or bubbles instead. But like they're not even pressuring you, so like this is fine. I tried to hold corners, yeah, and it's working out. Nice. Oh, okay, let's look at that.
Anyone willing to help?
So you go here, you start aggressing. What is wrong with my keyboard? It's not typing. Yeah, this is like the wrong mag. I just realized that. Also, like my keyboard is like dying on me. Why can I not use my keyboard? Play wrong team. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, guys, okay. I was like trying to figure out like my my keyboard. I was like, why are you playing well? It won't let me look at scoreboard. Hold up. My computer is dying on me. Give me a second. It's not even my computer. It's my keyboard. The frick? I'm gonna not use it. Maybe it's this. Okay, I'll use this. Okay, this works. This is a little scuffed, but it's fine. Okay, we're on the right team.
I feel like myself again.
Our mag is the swing native version. No, so far you're playing pretty well though. I want you to start using this first. Always try to start with this. It's a good thing that you have mag ult, but the reason why I want you to start with this is because you're doing so much damage with this ability. If you do enough damage with this ability, you can follow up with your mag ult. So they use ult, and now I forgot to talk about this, but always look at their comp before starting the game, right? Be like, what can I use my mag ult in order to counter what they're going to use? So you can counter Hela ult, you can counter Gambit ult, you can counter even Deadpool ult. There's 3 full counters, right? Because they use Gambit ult, this is a good time to use mag ult. I guess holding it is fine here too. But yeah, you need to start looking around whenever you see no more ult like that, and always get in the habit of shielding and bubbling someone else. Always shield to like prevent the ult from hitting you, and then use bubble to stop like it from hitting someone else.
You are under my protection. Kinetically.
Unfortunately, I don't let myself play on play him on my ult. Well, you're a tank player, right? You play him on your main at least, right? Yeah, that's the main issue. You're not in the habit yet of using shield and bubble for other people when you need to. I need you to start using bubbles a lot more, and start using shield, right, to make space, or to deny healing. You're not using your abilities enough. Ooh, nice donk. Nice, and we got point. Skip to second fight. Yep.
I feel like myself again.
Bring on the chaos.
Disappear!
You need not fear.
Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
You gotta start kiting. If you don't have any abilities. Alright, let's see your... Okay, now you're overusing it, and let's see if they're actually good, because this is when you're starting to make a lot of mistakes here. Right? So, okay, let's see who you use bubble first. So you're here. You guys use ult. This is fine. You wanna... Self bubble is fine. No, don't use bubble. No. See how you're using bubble for people that you don't need it? You're kind of rushing it now. I think you need to start identifying who, like, waiting for your bubbles and seeing who actually needs it. It's unlucky. Maybe you were trying to save your Salak, but your Salak was definitely dead. But he used 2 crucial cooldowns at that choke when he didn't have to use it at the choke at all, right? Your entire purpose here is just to hold point. So if we go back, we can see that this point up here, all you have to do is slowly kite back. You don't even have to use any ultimates or anything, but your goal is just to slowly kite back to the point where you're here and your team is up in these spots just to heal you, right? And while they're doing that, you're just trying to stall point, right? And you have your abilities and everything. If you see people are making plays, then sure, you can push up. But this is a moment of time where your goal is just to stall as long as possible. And you keep these bubbles, these hard abilities, up. Okay? And see, now you're not able to use any abilities during these crucial moments, because now they made it to where they want to be. They want to be on point, but now because you know that they want to be here and you stalled out and kited back and you're ready for this, then you can use your abilities, right? So I want you to start thinking about this and understanding when and where abilities are needed to be used as a source of pressure, and when you can just stall out and use nothing and keep kiting until you can't no more, right? And then I think you guys fall apart. Yeah. Yeah, they just all you guys die. Yeah. Okay. Use ult. I want you to start pushing. Yes. Ooh, nice counter ult. Nice. Oh my god. That was clean. Huge dunk. You guys should be shooting it together. There we go. I like this. I really like this. Nice. That was really good. That was really, really good on you. Fort, right? Yep. You're just use Flare on the desperation. They can. You're just not playing well. You just clean up. Yeah. Nice. No, you put that really well. But again, things I want to talk about is definitely understanding that you need to use bubbles and cooldowns a little bit more often, and where and when to use them, right? You just didn't play the point correctly, I would say. You want to start slowly kiting back and slowly making sure you're able to bring yourself back onto point and then hold. Whenever you get into positions where you're just holding, this is where you want to use your ability like the most, right? You want to start spamming it almost to either allow you to flip it back and win the fight, or to stall out for even longer. Okay, that is the main issue that I see within this gameplay. Otherwise, you still won and you still played really well. It's just definitely ability and cooldown usage. I really need to look back at my supports for bubble, especially when I know Namor ult. Namor probably has ult. Yes, definitely. And I'm trying to give you a mindset so you're able to put yourself in a position where you can easily do that every time. And it's by not using those abilities during these certain chokes or certain points on the map, right? Namor got my supporters with every ult he had. Yeah, he did. But yeah, otherwise pretty good gameplay. I really like your ultimates. I really like your target prio and everything. Like everything is really good. Definitely need a working cooldown with your abilities. But yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be the last VOD. I definitely should go to bed. It is definitely getting a little late, but for anyone that stick around, thank you so much. Tomorrow I will continue with the VOD reviews. So definitely come by tomorrow for more free VOD reviews. It's gonna be a little bit earlier. I'm gonna start streaming a little bit earlier. Probably not go through MRI, just because it takes a little bit too long. We'll just go over the VODs instead. I think it's a little bit more entertaining going through VODs instead of doing the whole thing. But until then, thank you for everyone that stick around. Had a lot of fun doing these VOD reviews. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit. And I try to use strike click before or immediately after bubbling, maximize the recharge of it. Yes. Yeah, you want to use it during times where you are taking a lot of pressure, and that's why I said whenever you are in the standstill where you can't move and you have to hold your ground, that's when you want to use your abilities hard, and then that's why you get the most amount of value during those situations. But anyways, thank you everyone for stopping by. Had a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.